So, it is time. Fall 2024 anime season, tier list, rules, and my usual stipulations here. This is all based on the current season, fall, all the shows that I have watched, and I'm going to be ranking them based on the season itself. I've had several times in the past where people go, but Andrew, you're saying that this show is worthy of A tier? It's not A tier. I'm not comparing A tier to like the year as a whole, because there's a lot of shows I would probably say this season aren't like a majority of these shows in this season are probably D tier compared to the rest of the year. But I'm going to be ranking them in the season itself. So people are looking for shows in the season itself. This is their ranking amongst each other in the fall season. That's what I'm kind of focusing on. So don't think that you could take an A tier show that I have for this season and say that it is equal to an A tier show in winter. Winter was insane, dude. Like, I keep looking back at winter's insane. So that's the stipulation I want to make there. And it's all my opinion, bro. I want to make sure that's clear too. It's all my opinion. This is definitely a bit of a weakest season for me. I agree. It's kind of one of those seasons where, like, I have this handful of shows that are super, super, super good. And then, like, everything else is like, we'll see. Like, we'll see. There's a lot of things that have promise, and we'll get into some of them. I think there's some that might be a surprise to some people that I think actually has some promise. But it is one of the seasons where if you want to take a break, it's probably a good season to take a break. But let's get into it. Let's kick it off. Uzumaki. I love Uzumaki. I love Jinrabuchi. I love Jinrabuchi too. Let's just start naming a bunch of stuff that I like. I do like Junji Ito. He's incredible at making unsettling and like super twisted stuff. Hence Uzumaki. I watched the first 2 episodes of Uzumaki and I felt like the production issues were the least of its problems. I made a whole video on this. I feel like the pacing in it is garbage. I feel like they are skipping way too much stuff in it. Not that there's like some massive context there. He's usually not so much about creating in my experience with him, he's not so much about creating a thought-provoking concept. He's just more about showing you something that is twisted and how people respond to it. And I felt like a lot of that is kind of yanked out of Uzumaki. And so I don't even know if I'll finish it. I'm probably going to just finish reading the manga because I was reading the manga alongside of it. I think I'm just going to finish the manga. I have it up there because I just... Plus the anime, based on the clips, it's looking like it's becoming a moving manga anyway. So Uzumaki... I'm just going to throw it in the D tier. It's fine. It's not an F tier. I'm not going to make an F tier or a trash tier yet, but I think it's in the D category. I think it's a bad adaptation. The first episode was good besides skipping stuff. The first episode was good. Like, visually, I did like the style of it. Anyways, yeah, The Girls and Magicians. I really wanted to like this show. It's super beautiful. I love the style of it. It's very unique looking. It's very gorgeous. It does reuse animations a lot. Even like reskinning animations was kind of weird. It's very beautiful. It's got a pleasant setting. It's very charming. It's just not doing anything. Like, that's my only problem, is it doesn't feel like it's doing anything. So far, like, the idea here is this one girl, she dreams to become a magician. She studies really, really hard. And then at some point when she can go to a magic school, you have to get into this one class to be a magician. And they give you these little notebooks, and the notebooks is what you actually, it's like a digital, it's literally like a PDA, like an old school PDA or something like that, an old school like digital booklet. And you can you type in the spell that you want and it creates the spell. Whereas, like, I guess normally you can actually draw the spell itself and it will create it. And so she doesn't get in that school or that class, and so she can't become a magician. But then she gets a teacher that is going to show them how to do magician or magic with drawing them. And so she's learning how to do that. That's the setup so far. And it's like, that's it. Like, it doesn't feel like it's grabbing me. I think its biggest problem is the characters. There's a lot of really annoying characters. There's this one guy that sings all the time. He's really obnoxious. I just think the characters are not really doing it. Spending too much time whining about the fact that she can't be in the major class of teaching magic. Anyways, Inferno Torch. $10. What's up, man? appreciate your support, man. Every single Mashoko Monday. Everybody give Infernal Torch a shout out. Every single Mashoko Monday, Infernal Torch is there to support the channel. I really, really appreciate it, man. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I don't ever get to see you on live stream, so I don't get a chance to say thank you like live and everything. It's always my texting. But thank you so much, man. You're amazing. I appreciate the support. I'm glad you're enjoying the Mashoko Mondays. Finally caught a tier list live. Well, welcome, Wano. So yeah, this one, I think I'm gonna put it in B for now. I think this is a really good middle ground show to start off with. Besides Uzumaki being down there, I'm gonna put it in the B area because I think it's like, it's okay. It's okay to charming. I think it still has that charm there and visual there. I want it to do good. I really want it to do good. You gotta watch all the stuff in your list or just the ones full list in season. Everything here I've watched. So yeah. I think I have some stuff that I didn't put in the list because I don't have anything to say about them, so keep that in mind as well. Spirit Chronicles. I really hate Spirit Chronicles. I really don't know why I'm continuing to watch Spirit Chronicles. I really hate Spirit Chronicles. It's got cute characters. My gosh, the female characters are really cute. I really wanted them in the first season to do something very interesting with the main character because he is I died in a bus that got hit by a train. I get transported into the body of somebody in another world. But it sort of implies the idea that he's still himself in there. Like the person that was originally in that body his mother was murdered and he wants to get revenge. And so when he's placed inside the body of that person, he doesn't take it over. He still has all the memories of that previous person and that hatred. And it almost felt like they were going to have a battle of minds inside of his own self. Like, who's going to control this body? But they never did that. They keep implying it, but they never do it. This new season has been super boring. Like, it's just been essentially his girlfriend, the girl that he liked in his previous life, gets transported at the end of the previous season. He goes and saves her. They hang out and play house for like literally 2 episodes. And then he goes to the Spirit clan, asks them to look after them, and he's going to go look for the others that got transported because they're all possibly heroes that were transported to this world to save it from ruin. The other thing that drives me nuts is that they have these Japanese people there now, and they still speak Japanese, so the Spirit is translating for them, and their minds are linked, so they constantly have this echo of gibberish talk while they're talking in Japanese, and it drives me nuts. It's been a very weak season so far. Not a terrible show, but a very weak season so far. Watched Spirit Chronicles Season 1 according to Mal, but I can't remember anything. The best way that I could describe Spirit Chronicles is what I did when I did my first season review. It's pretty much the case where the main protagonist, this is the first season in a nutshell. The main character, like I said, is put into the body of this one kid that's faced tragedy his whole life. He at some point gets taken in, and then he's trained by some mage, which is basically Roxy. And then at some point he leaves. He goes on a journey. And he goes throughout the world and travels around to different locations. And each village he goes to, there's some random cute girl that will fall in love with him. And he will take them on dates. He will do everything possible to give them the impression that he likes them, and that will make them fall in love with him. And then by the time he's done, he will then leave on his journey to continue his journey and completely flat out reject them and abandon them. That's Spirit Chronicles. Literally every episode, well, not literally, I don't remember. It felt like every episode, it's a new village, new cute girl that he makes fall in love with her, and then he acts oblivious to the fact that she's in love with him, and then he leaves the village, and they sit there crying. I called it like, what was it? Making village girls cry in another world or something like that. It's literally what it felt like. I hated it. It was so obnoxious. And he's doing it again this season. Like, he's literally taking people and he's making them feel doki doki for him, and he leaves them. It's so obnoxious. Like, in this season, he goes back to the Spirit Village. And there, spoilers, soft spoilers here for anybody that did not watch for the first season, there's a cat girl there, or an animal girl there, who was on the bus with him when he got hit. And so they both know that they were from a previous world. And she really likes him and wants to be with him. He goes back there to that village, has a brief moment with her, and she gets mad because he's revealing that he's from a previous life. Gave up the secret that they had together. So he makes another one and says that he really cares for her. Yeah, it's like a frat boy traveler. Exactly. Frat boy traveling another world. It's so freaking obnoxious, dude. It's so how it's like he's emotionally manipulating girls, but it doesn't seem like he knows he's doing it. Like it's like he's playing the it's like he got a handbook for how to play to be a playboy, but he doesn't know what's on the cover, so he doesn't know what he's doing. He's just reading it and playing that playbook. It's aggravating. Anyways, moving on. Spirit Chronicles. I want to put down Dino. I freaking hate this dude. It's not that bad. At least it's got cute characters. It's got that at least. I do like the female characters. I love the Roxy character. She's super cute. And it seems like she's at least second place right now. I don't think she's first place. I don't think she's gonna win, but she's definitely up there for him. Spirit Chronicles is so generic, it's comical. I have female characters for the... I will say, like, the harem aspects is very generic. I just feel like there is something interesting in the world if they do something with it. I don't think the world itself is generic. I feel like there is a cool story there they can do something with if they can get focused. Anyway, somebody likes it. I'm happy for them. Orb. Is it a question? What's chat's read on Orb? What are we thinking? Has anybody in chat actually watched Orb? I guess that's a better question. Has anybody in the chat actually watched Orb at this point? Besides me. Julius, S tier, thank you. What the fan art, S tier, thank you. Anybody else? Anybody else? Me, what is it? You can't just say me. What's your score? Haven't seen it, heard lots of good though. It is super good. Easy S from Mihao. I don't know why I'm flubbing on that. Super good. Let's put S tier. At least the chat agrees with me. Sorry, S tier. Good. Thank you. Thank you. Already said S. Good. Everybody should acknowledge the greatness that is Orb. Orb is fantastic. I made a whole video on this. I literally am already... I hope I'm not cursing myself, but I would say easily... I mean, it's hard to fight with something like ReZero because ReZero already has an established franchise. ReZero is super freaking good. It's had, at this point, 50 plus episodes, so it's hard to put it up against something like ReZero. But just with its first 3 episodes, Orb was just phenomenal. Episode 4, still liking it, but definitely that 3rd episode was like... I mean, building up the 3rd episode was really fantastic. That was like its own story arc, and it was so freaking good. It does the whole idea of inspiration, that desire for a scholar to seek knowledge. All that stuff is so well put. Yeah, the terrors of society figuring you out and you being burnt at the stake. All that stuff's great. The directing's fantastic. The visuals are spot on. It's just super good. It's super freaking good. Is better as a weekly or a binge, you think? That's a good question. That's a good question. Because I watched the first 2 episodes in a binge. And then I watched the 3rd episode, I think. I forget. No, they had the first 2 episodes released, and then I watched the 3rd episode with it, I think. Or something like that. Anyways, I don't know. If you don't like heavy subjects, it might be difficult to watch it in a binge. I think that'd be the only difficulty there. But I do find that there's probably some stuff in there that you might not want to get spoiled on. You might end up running into people that might spoil it. I don't know. That's a good question. I think either way, it'll work out. I think either way, it'll probably work. I'm not a big fan of binging, so I'm like the worst person to ask. Plan to watch all when it comes out. The type of story I hate to wait for. That would suck. I can't wait, personally. Torture scene makes me hesitant to continue because that wasn't fun. I mean, they're not really drawn out torture scenes, though, so it just kind of hits the... I mean, the discussion's there. But, I mean, it's different for a lot of people. I know that torture doesn't work for a lot of people. Like, it really is more upsetting to them than it is me, so I understand that. Timeline make it hard to binge. My only problem is I fear they will make the church too evil just to make it evil when you know about the true story of Galileo. It's way more fault of the church. Well, I mean, they did good with the first story arc because I did like the idea that the God, what was his name at this point? Hubert? Was it Hubert? He wasn't trying to go against the belief, he was going against the church. And that's where I kind of think that it's sort of interesting. I do like that kind of playing the middle road. In the end, yeah, I'm going to fully acknowledge that the story itself is not fiction. It's not factual. This is fiction. So I wouldn't expect Orb to portray, like, because this isn't real. Like, these stories are not real. It's something somebody made up for entertainment. So they're gonna ham things up. Yeah, there's probably a lot of people out there that'll watch Orb and go, my gosh, they actually did that? Yes and no. Yes and no kind of stuff. Yeah, it was hard. If I hadn't heard great things from it, I wouldn't have gotten past the fingernail parts. But yeah, easily. If ReZero wasn't in the season, it would easily be my number one show of the season by far. Like, the only thing that's really kind of fighting with it right now is one we'll get to in a minute. Arifureta. I have a mixed relationship with Arifureta. Like, I have times where I really, really enjoy it, and there's times where it just kind of has me snoring. Like, Arifureta is very inconsistent in its entertainment. This season's been pretty solid so far. There's a reason. There might be a reason right here. There's a certain bunny girl that is taking the front and center, who's literally like fighting for number one best girl of the show. That's kind of a nice plus there. But I will admit that this season's been kind of boring so far. It has been kind of boring so far. Not that it's not. I'm hoping it gets better, but I think I'm gonna put it like in the C territory. It's like a B- C+ area. Yeah, the bunny warriors are a lot of fun. That was like one of the rare moments that where it actually got entertaining. Yeah, you're kind of right. I'm gonna put in B. B-, like really low B for me right now. I hope it picks up at this point, but it has been mostly kind of just standing around, getting with the bunnies, talking about them wanting to, go saving the bunnies, talking about the revolt and all that kind of crap. Mecha Ude. How is Mecha Ude doing for people? I have not seen anybody talking about Mecha Ude. I think I've seen it on a couple thumbnails for some other YouTubers, but I haven't really seen anybody talk about Mecha Ude. I know people talked about Mecha Ude back when they released that one little pilot or something like that. It was a single episode or something like that. And I haven't seen anybody talk about it since then. For me, so far, Mecha Ude has been essentially sci-fi generic shonen. Sci-fi generic shonen. Like, it just feels so generic. It's boy that gets the powers, and then the organizations want to stop him. There's two different groups. One side wants to help him, ? Other side wants to steal it. There's the people that use it badly. There's the people that use it goodly. And he's the middle boy that just doesn't want to be involved. That's it. It is fun when it comes to the action, but I feel like everything outside of the action is blah. I will admit that here recently, with the last episode I watched, where it actually gets into the girl and her history and the snake the snake arms user or whatever that she's trying to hunt down that killed her family, it kind of got a little bit more interesting. At least it got character drive in there. But again, it's another she's looking for that one user type of story. I don't know. It feels like it feels safe. That's the best way to put it. It feels safe. Mecha Ude feels safe. And that's why I think in the end it might not pan out to be anything good. It's just okay. Like, it's going for okay. Visually, I'm super mixed. Like, I do like it definitely is going for triggerish. Like, I don't know if there's like people involved with it that are like past trigger people. It looks like it's going for a trigger style, but it doesn't always pull it off. I think the biggest issue the action scenes have is that a lot of the time it doesn't feel like it has a cohesiveness to it. Like, it feels sloppy, like all over the place. You don't really know what's actually happening to the characters when it gets really high paced. But it's entertaining. In the end, it's still entertaining. Yeah, it's playing it safe. At least I'm not alone on that one. It's still entertaining, though. It's got a good style to it. I will say that the style of it's great. I like there's a thing about having... Here's the question mark that I have for a lot of people. Is the... No, because I think they revealed it here recently. For the longest time, I was wondering, because it says that the actual arms has to attach to a body part. And his somehow attached to his hoodie. But normally it has to attach to somebody at some location. And for the longest time, I was trying to figure out where the girls were being attached to. And I was trying to figure out if it was her thighs or it was her butt cheeks. And I think it pretty much revealed here recently that it's her thighs, which is really funny. Because it just comes out from underneath her skirt. And I'm like, so is it on her butt cheeks or what? Because she has two of them. And I would hope she has two butt cheeks, so. She has two thighs, though. Acro Trip. Acro Trip. Saturday morning cartoon vibes. Pretty much. Yeah, pretty much. Acro Trip. I want to like Acro Trip so freaking much. I just want another gushing over magical girls, let's be honest. Acro Trip is... like a C. I think Acro Trip is a solid C. Like, it has some really good moments, but it's so... If it doesn't have Berry Blossom involved, it's super boring. It is super boring whenever Berry Blossom's like... If it's just Date and Chroma, it's super boring. It's the usual... He's a dysfunctional bad guy, and it doesn't have... Its jokes so far just are not working. Drop the show after episode 3. I mean, that's a good... It's a good call, I think. For now. It's a good call. Acro Trip is gushing, but you can't watch it in the living room. Acro Trip is a gushing over magical girl that you can actually watch in the living room. Pretty much, yes, yes. I mean, that's the problem. Is like when I started watching Acro Trip, I made the joke about it, made it my thumbnail, and I still hold to it. It's like if you couldn't watch gushing over magical girls because you didn't like how inappropriate it was, Acro Trip's an option because it technically is doing similar things. But I just think its writing is so weak that it's not... It can't carry it. And I think even with... If you were to censor the crap out of gushing over magical girls, like cut out every single inappropriate scene in that show, it would still be miles more entertaining than Acro Trip. Thousands of miles more entertaining. Because what gushing over magical girl does outside of the ecchi is it nails the creation of a villain. Now, this can do it eventually. Acro Trip can do that eventually, but it's not really doing that. Like, gushing over magical girl gets more in the idea of her, like, just becoming extremely perverted in the mind. Like, completely twisted and perverted in the mind. She's becoming the villain. Whereas this one feels like she's just a fan. And that's fine, but it doesn't really... If she's a hyper fan, it's not funny unless Berry Blossom's actually there to trigger it. That's like the phone call conversation. I think that was the best scene in Acro Trip so far. Is that point where they want to call the Berry Blossom and tell her that they have her familiar hostage. This is her sidekick, basically. And Chroma calls first, or he calls... Yeah, he calls her first, but the number is to the familiar. And he's in the room. And he tells the familiar over the phone, while he's in the same room, get Berry Blossom on the line. So he's like, okay, calls up Berry Blossom. Now he's able to talk to her. And then he geeks out, gushes blood out the nose, and passes out because Berry Blossom's too cute. So Date has to finally pick up the phone, and she picks up. And then she becomes overcome with joy because she's talking to Berry Blossom. And then ends up telling Berry Blossom, your familiar's here, please come pick him up. Like, she literally doesn't do like, haha, we have her, now you're gonna meet our needs. She literally just tells her, your kid's lost, come pick him up. It was such a great scene because it had Berry Blossom involved. But they don't do that. It's weird. Anyways, rant done. Why'd I put this in here? What is not My Dress Up Darling or Dress Up Darling PG-13 edition? Where does this go? Where does all all ages version of My Dress Up Darling go at this point, because we're at the point now where this show is so sanitized it's not even funny. It's so sanitized it's not even funny. Like I'm just ready for these girls to start dressing up in like full robes, like just like a full monk robe, just like cover the head and everything, cover her up, make sure no skin is showing. This show's getting so censored. I don't call it censorship technically, but it is very clean. It's very for kids. We're going for the My Kids version. This is like what was the big one in the West for the longest time that was doing all the censored anime distribution? G Kids? Was it G Kids? Not G Kids. God dang. It's a C show right now. This show started going downhill for me probably around the point where she went to the convention with God, what's her name? Is Nagimo? Nagi something. The moment that she went to the same one as Nagimo, it started losing me. Like, is it 4 kids? It started losing me at that point because the writing started to feel very, very stale and repetitive. Like, introduce new character has like lifelong drama, but then character sees Lirisha, and suddenly their life is fixed. That's the concept of what this show has become. Introduce new character has massive trauma. They see Lirisha dressed up as Lirisha, and then they get fixed. It's become very boring for me. I'm still watching it. I still have some moments that I enjoy of it, but it has become really stale for me right now. That's why I stopped covering it. People were asking why I stopped covering it weekly. That's why. It's just I don't have much positive things to say about it. B for me. That's a solid in my opinion. 2.5 second core is getting better. To be honest, really. The in my head screaming MC got quieter. That is true. That is very. You're right there. If your problem with the first core was him screaming all the time, yes, he's chilled out. Thankfully, he is thankfully chilled out. I did kind of question here recently, and I think it was in the last episode. They go in there. They had that one photo shoot inside that rented room, and then they both come in there, and he's literally on the ground, and he's freaking out because what they're obviously dressed up in. And it almost looks like he's doing a humping. I know he's wiggling, like, oh my gosh, this is great. But I'm like, it kind of looks inappropriate. Like, it kind of looks like he's humping the air. But okay, we won't point it out. 2.5 manga has a lot of nudity, so you can say such. Yeah, my argument there is really, I feel like it was a choice. I haven't seen a confirmation one way or the other, but I feel like it was. All signs were kind of pointing to it being a choice by the owners. I would love to see if they possibly came out and confirmed that. Because a lot of people early on were saying that it was a choice by the creators. That they wanted to pose it as... I would say I'm 95% sure that it was a choice by the production team to appeal to a broader audience. That's a given. Less, ecchi. You're going to get a broader appeal. You're going to be able to broadcast it to more people. That's a given. And they probably felt it wasn't that much of a loss by covering up things and not showing as much. The annoying thing is that it feels like a bait and switch because the first 2 episodes has good ecchi. The first couple episodes has good ecchi. So it almost feels like they're bait and switching the people that wanted the ecchi, while at the same time making it more covered up for those that don't want it. So it's like, who are you selling to, honestly? But I heard a lot of people claim that later on the manga, 2.5 Dimensional Seduction gets cleaner. It doesn't. I had somebody look into it. He showed me a lot of examples. It doesn't. It still has plenty of ecchi. It still has plenty of nudity. So I don't know where people are getting that they adjusted the anime to fit later in the manga. Because it doesn't seem like it's true. Putting it in C is a greater portrayal than happened to Seer. How can you portray something that doesn't... Anyways, You know what I'm going to say. How can he betray something that doesn't? Has a lot of nudity. Yeah. In the manga, it makes sense because they actually show it, and so his reaction makes sense. Yeah, I think my issue, especially here recently, was having really good scenes that were technically ecchi that give the character more spotlight. Like, they skipped the whole segment where it gets into the teacher and her friend that she used to cosplay with and getting into their romance. There's like a little bit of hinting at their romance, and they completely skip it. Probably made the first episode and the community asked to change. Well, no, they can't change that fast. Then I can't go with you on that one. They cannot change it that fast. They would have to have, for a 2-core season, they would have to have at least 8 episodes fully completed. Otherwise, you'd be already seeing massive delays. They would have to have at least 8 episodes done. Because once those 8 episodes are done, they could have enough materials, maybe half materials for the rest of the stuff completed, and they can finalize them as the season starts to air. But there's no way in heck they can produce... When they start kind of covering up everything, I think the first 3 episodes had plenty of ecchi. I think 4 and onward, is where it kind of covered up, or it started showing less. There's no way they can make an entire episode and all the episodes after that within 3 weeks. It's impossible. So, nah. Anyways, moving on from that. It's still a good show, though. It's still a good show. Just not... It's not something I go after every week. It's an okay show. Here. Tsumasho. If my wife became an elementary school student, or my wife became an elementary school student, there's like multiple titles for it. S tier. I can't go a single week. Ever since, well, I would probably say the first episode too. Maybe not the second episode. I would say like every episode of Tsumasho, I can't get through it without at least getting teary-eyed. This show just keeps wrecking me. It's super freaking good. For those who don't know what it is, it's basically guy has a wife and a child. The wife suddenly one day dies. Cut forward 10 years, suddenly out of nowhere, or he doesn't move on with his life. His daughter doesn't move on with their life. They're just depressed all the time. Their life basically comes still. Like it shatters them. Suddenly out of nowhere, an elementary school student shows up and she says, "Hey, I'm your wife. I was walking by here, and then one day, bam, all my memories from my previous life came back to me. I'm your wife. What the hell are you doing? Get your crap together. Move on with your life. It saddens me that that my passing has caused you to basically stand still, but move on with your life." And it pretty much from that point on just becomes this aspect of they lost something, but now they get it back, and they're able to kind of do things together as a family again. But yes, she grew up in this life for 10 years and has her own family that she has responsibilities to, and they can't be seen together because this is an elementary school student. There's a lot of that stuff that kind of creeps up. It gets into their lives. They're moving on. The idea of loss, the idea of regrets, not being able to do the things that you promised that you would do with your spouse or whatever before they passed away. It's just super heartfelt. And when it starts getting into the actual mom of the story, Takae, it's super good. It's super good, and I can't wait for more. Really great show. Not the most visually amazing show, but it's fine. It's fine visually. This show is an A-S. I would say A only because animation is just not an amazing visual show. Tsumasho, it's a S for scandalous. Yeah, ask Twitter/X what they think of it, and you'll probably get plenty of ideas there. Don't have enough much, kind of like the character reacts normally when they see nudity. Yeah. I admit some of the scenes hit me hard too. It's bittersweet. Yeah, I like that last scene in episode 4, ? It's so complicated. I love when it's so complicated because you're like, this mom is such a dirtbag. This mom is an absolute abusive dirtbag. I'm sorry, yeah, we only see one scene where she gets physical with her, pushes her, And you can say it's just like a moment of passion or whatever, or just she's worked up. But she is psychologically massively abusive to that child. And it's like, I don't want to forgive that, but it's like, I can see where Takai is going with this idea of like, she's technically happy now. Do I want to take that happiness away from her? Can she get better now? If I don't speak out about this, maybe she might actually get better. We might actually have a normal family. It's still like, I want her to say something. Tell this guy she beats me all the time. Or she doesn't talk to me ever. She psychologically abuses me by never communicating to me. She's isolated me in the house. Anyways, it's so good. I love those question marks, those conundrums. Flawed characters that do horrible things that make you go, oh, by the way, do you want to empathize with them now? Sucks. Angry because they think it meant to be lewd. Yeah, I mean, it's like the whole thing like later on where he actually technically writes up a marriage proposal. Now, granted, it is of his wife's name on it, but it's still yeah. Cotton 4K moment. I mean, I don't see it as that. That's the problem. Is it's like it doesn't portray it as that he's attracted to this child. It's just he's able to talk to his wife again. That's all it is. If you could take the visual out of it, that's all it is. And so it is kind of a conundrum there. But I think what I like, and this is anime in general. Tsumasho is a great example of why I love Japanese storytelling so much. They will do something like this that makes you go, oh, is it doing what I think it's doing? Where he's attracted to an elementary school student? It presents something like this in order to create a what-if scenario. What would you do if suddenly somebody that you loved so much instantly dies? Like, gone. And then suddenly somebody shows up and says they're them. And then you have that moment to reconnect. What would happen? Oh yeah, but now you got to realize she's still in school. She still has a mother. And that mother would freak out and go to the police if they were caught together. What would happen? Okay, now she has to go back to her previous life. She has a mother that's not going to let her... She doesn't have... What this presents really is that she has no independence. That's the key thing there. Yes, there is the element that she is younger, much younger, in the age of this should never be a thing. He should never be anywhere near this girl. It's illegal. It is very much so frowned upon, and it should be frowned upon. But what it presents to the story is that she lacks independence. She cannot do things. She's bound by societal locks. She's bound by a mother that has full authority over her. That's what it presents. It doesn't want to get into the idea of them getting together. The only thing they've really done is he says, in 8 more years. That's it. That's all it really says. He says, in 8 more years, we can get remarried. That's all he's thinking about right now. It's like, I just have my wife back, and 8 more years, we can get married, and everything's fine. We can be a couple again. He's not physically attracted to her whatsoever. It's just, my wife is here. The brain of my wife is here. That's really what it is. But the willingness to explore this is what's so fascinating about it, and that's why I love it. That's why I love Japanese writing, is they're not afraid to create the scenario to make the what-ifs. That's like Higehiro. Higehiro is another great example. It should never happen. It should never exist. But because it exists, it creates the question mark of what would you do? I like that. Yeah, he loves his wife, and it shows multiple times he sees her and is like, yeah, that's something I think the anime is definitely doing that. The manga does it, but not very often. The anime, I feel like the anime is trying to burn that into people's heads. That's what's happening here. He verbally says it in the manga often, but the anime is trying to show it visually, and I think that's great. It shows a visual perspective of what he sees. I think it's a mature show. Yeah. You have to be a mature mind to understand what it's doing. Really. Explaining that a child is a reincarnated wife. Yeah, he's trying to close her, nothing else. And that's really what it is. It's massive regrets. All these times that he said, we're going to go do something once, Mai gets married and gets out of the house. We're going to go do all those things. Never gets a chance to do it. And these social norms are only a problem because she's mentally someone else, not just a child. Right. Western culture grow weak to challenge ideas and storytelling. Right. That's why I think it's the problem is we've become so stagnant over here. ReZero. I wonder. I wonder. I wonder. I wonder. Season's been so freaking good. This season has been so freaking good. Absolutely fantastic. Visually amazing. Animation has been really amazing as well. Great character insights. The encounters have been fantastic. I cannot wait for next week. I can't wait for next week. Hopefully get to see more Capella. Really, are you liking Aoyuki as a deranged psycho lolly dragon? It's been amazing as well. I'm really ticked off this recent week with what happened to Mimi. Not happy, but I should expect that with ReZero. Anytime you get to liking a character, it's obviously something horrible is going to happen to them, and I'm not happy about what happened to Mimi. Mimi has been just amazing with Garv here recently. Absolutely love the two of them. We'll have ReZero for a long time. Yeah, that's the only problem is like we only have what 3 more weeks of it. Is it 3 more weeks or 4 more weeks? I think 4 more weeks. Yeah, 4 more. Because we're only going 8 episodes this season, and we'll have to wait. That's gonna suck. I hope they have a good stopping point. S for Betty supremacy. The suffering will only make people love them. Or right. Putting them in dire straits. But yeah, it's been fantastic. I cannot wait for more. I'm loving how much my theories are kind of going crazy right now. It's been great doing content for it just because I'm back in that mood again. And it was great because I had to rewatch the first 2 seasons and I didn't realize how much I loved it. I mean, I knew I loved it, but rewatching the first 2 seasons, I'm like, holy crap, this show's so freaking good. I miss how good this series is. Cannot wait to start reading it. Cannot wait to start reading. I want to do a sentence of Bookworm first. I really want to do a sentence of Bookworm first because it's actually done. But I really kind of want to get right into ReZero. It's just... It's good. It's so good. I love it. So personally, realized not death in 2 episodes in long time compared to the old arc. The show is gross. Yeah, I mean, it could be multiple things. It could definitely show his growth. Really, I guess it's more the idea that he's not put an immediate threat. And he does technically have more allies. I mean, he did have allies and still died in the first season, so let's not get that wrong. But or the second season. Well, I mean, both seasons. Or it could just be the idea that it might the author themselves might just not want to get too heavily invested in that kind of stuff. Because I always feel like the deaths in ReZero, and this is why I really like the first season, as much as people hated like Subaru and when he'd get really kind of flustered and upset and just make really stupid comments like what he did to Emilia, where he said, "You wouldn't be alive. I did all this stuff for you, blah, 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 blah. You wouldn't have made it here if it weren't for me." His frustration and fear of like Rem and Ram with the whole situation at the mansion. I feel like the writer does the resets thoughtfully. I mean, there's going to be times where it happens because he just makes a mistake. Or he just runs into something that just one-shots him. But I always feel like the resets have purpose. And so that's what always makes it great. Sometimes it's to test something out. Or an assumption that something is an I win card. Like, let's face it. He called Reinhard because why? Reinhard's an I win button. He hit that button. Here comes Reinhard. Great. Good. Got it. Taken care of. Let's go back to Emilia. And then no. Sometimes it's to test something, but I think most of the time it's to tell a story or tell a character from a different perspective. And I always love that about the series. Anyways, Mao 2099. I like the setup so far. I only have 2 episodes to work by on this one. I do like the setup so far. I'm curious what direction it's going to go. If it's going to go in the Devil's a part-timer route, where it's just goofy shenanigans of guy trying to make it in a new world, or if it's going to really keep on what it presented in the first episode, which is his rise to power. That's my biggest question mark, because I think with Devil's a part-timer lost me the moment it tried to start building up the overall story, and it lost focus of being a goofball. And so that does give me a little bit of hesitation there, is if this one will do the same thing, and that won't work. This season VTuber show. Does he do legit nothing but VTuber? I assume based on the PV that was just a one time he tries it and he goofs up. It'd be funny if he actually keeps to being a VTuber. Hopefully it doesn't play too much on VTuber jokes, because the VTuber Legend was, for me, not enjoyable. But we'll see. But yeah, so far, my B is getting really heavy right now. I'm gonna put it in B for right now. I like the setup so far, but I was worried the last part about the YouTube thing. Yeah, I'm like I said, I'm curious if it's actually gonna be something that's central focus, or if he does it and it's just he fails and moves on. Anyways, Amagami Sisters. I really am enjoying Amagami Sisters. I think this one has been probably... I wouldn't say it's like a big surprise, because I did have a couple people saying that there's a promise in this series. Like, it has a decent kind of harem plotline for it, rather than it just being the status quo for harem. I do feel like the first episode, a little bit into the second episode, it does hit all the major points. Like, it's like, oh, hey, this is a harem show, let's hit all the jokes. Haha, we had the walk-in. Haha, we did this. Haha, he lifted up their pantsu and put him on the drying rack. Okay, we hit all the jokes, now what? And I feel like after it got that stuff out of the way, it does feel like it has at least some solid chemistry with the characters. This is rare. This is a rare case of a harem anime where I like all the girls. Like, yes, Asahi's obviously number one, because she's the mischievous little sister, and she's a little gremlin, and I love her. But I like all of them. Like, the big sis she's hot, and she's got like a nice kind of personality to her. The middle sis, thought that I would hate her, because she's kind of the cover girl, like, poorly presented tsundere. Like, she is like one of those kind of cover girl, harem, poorly presented tsundere characters that really fixes too quick, but she's turned out to be really solid. I like her personality. She's a hard worker. So it's kind of a rare harem where I'm like perfectly fine with any one of them winning. But obviously, again, Asahi's best, so. Amagami is S for sisters. It is fun. A for Cunny. Yai is number one. She's great. Over Damsel. Over Damsel. I don't know. I really don't know. I thought the first episode was decent. Like, the introduction of her, the situation that she's in. She's reset, basically. She's a reset villainous character. And she immediately wants to get away from the prince and confesses some random person, and turns out to be this prince from another nation. That guy's like, it implies it implies that he's super into young. Like, he has a stipulation that he wants to marry somebody, but they can't be older than 14. It implies that that's because there's some sort of prophecy that this person has to be a certain age. But I don't know. And it gets over there, she kicks total butt. I do like the main character. She's fun. I like her reactions and stuff. I just don't know if I care much for the male character. Like, the guy, I don't like the male. Like, I don't like the guy. He's sort of off. Like, he's super off. Like, I don't like him. Like, I don't really like the main guy. He's off. I wouldn't say he's weird. He's off. He's not enjoyable. But I don't know. I'm looking forward to more of it. I do like the girl. I hope that the main storyline gets a little better after this point, but it is what it is. I actually really like the sugary sweet scene in this one, but the plot's super serious. Otherwise, is in contrast. Yeah, I do like their chemistry. Don't get me wrong. He just seems, I don't know. There's something I don't find him really appealing, I guess. We'll see though. We'll see, though. He is a goofball, though. He is a goofball. That's sort of his charm. 365 days of the wedding. I'm cooling off on this show. I think early on, I felt there was promise here. Like, the first 2 episodes, I think, are really solid for the series. Because I like the idea of 2 seemingly introvert characters sort of forcing themselves to, like, marry each other in order to get away from being shipped off somewhere by their company. And I like that. I like the idea that she's like a total map nerd. She likes to travel around and collect rocks. She doesn't like to socialize. And he's the same way. He just doesn't like socializing, just kind of locks himself up in his house all the time when he's not working, just wants to spend time with his cat. And now they both have to kind of force themselves to be married. And then everybody else kind of is excited about it. They want to, learn more about how to, like, one guy wants some advice from him in order to get with his other girl, and the big boss girl is trying to thinks that they're pregnant or something like that. It's goofy. Then getting to the second episode and the third episode and fourth episode, it started kind of cooling down for me, and I'm not really sure how I'm liking the flavor of the show going forward. But it's a solid start. I think its biggest difficulty that it has is side characters. When it's just the 2 of them and it's focused on them, I do like it. But whenever you bring in other characters, they aren't as entertaining. Like the dad. There was the first moments of the dad being introduced, I found it funny. I think the dad was kind of like that. He's a little bit much. Like, the dad's a bit much. But then over time, I got tired of the dad. Their initial introduction of new characters is always solid, but then they drag them out to the point where they're not interesting anymore. The foreign star comes in the picture. Really fun right off the bat. Then it kind of stretches out too much. But there is sort of a learning curve that's happening with the 2 main characters, and I like that they're continuing to develop the characters as they have interaction with other characters. But I don't know, it's a promising start. Starting to cool down on it, but we'll see. I'm gonna put it in the A, though. Compared to everything else, I think it's in A territory. Again, for those who don't know, this tier list is based on this season. They're compared to each other. Is anybody surprised on this one? It's gonna be up here. S tier. I love Natsume Jinsho. I've only seen 2 episodes of it so far, maybe 3? Question mark. I've seen the mini Nyanko Sensei, which was super cute. What was the other episode? The garden. Yeah, that's right, the garden. I don't think I've seen anything other than that. Yeah, I don't think I've seen episode 3. It's super good so far. It's the usual Natsume Jinsho. I will say, just based on 2 episodes, not as great as previous seasons, but that's okay. Like, I don't expect every single episode to have like some massive tearjerker, because I've had that in the past. Like, previous seasons, Natsume Jinsho's have got me like super emotional. The stories are super freaking emotional, but they're very heartwarming episodes so far. So I'm always excited for more Natsume Jinsho. I really love the series. I think it's like one of my favorite franchises of all time. So we'll see. Not watching that since it's not season 1. Yeah, you got six seasons to get through it, but they're great seasons. Super. I don't know how somebody could binge watch that. I think I had to binge watch 2 seasons of it, but I would fear for anybody binge watching Jinsho. Like, it might be easily doable if you're not a sobbing mess like I am sometimes. I expect you to put it second in S tier. Oh, like the placement? Like, so far, just like the first 2 episodes I've seen, I would put it below Orb, but like overall the series, I would have it above Orb. But like just season 7 so far, I would put it under Orb. Sword Art Online Alternative Gun Gale Online part 2, or is it season 2? I think it's season 2, right? I don't remember. Anyways, I think it's season 2. I'm enjoying it more than the second half of season 1, but less than the first half of season 1. That's my best way that I can describe my like for this current season of Gun Gale Online, is that it's better than the second half of the first season, but less better than the first half of this first season. For those who don't know, I hated the second half of season 1. The moment it got super like serious, I turned off. I'm like, okay, whatever. Let's make this into. We have to constantly do the death game. Like, we cannot not do the death game. The series is that I think Gun Gale Online alternative Gun Gale Online, I think it's at its peak when it just has fun. Just have fun. You're playing a freaking online game. Nobody's going to die. Just have fun. And it's doing that good so far. It feels very Call of Duty right now with the whole, like, you know, territories seeping in. Like, it's very, what's the other game? I was thinking PUBG, yeah. It's very PUBG. Because I think PUBG, didn't PUBG, weren't they the first ones to do that? Battle Royale, yeah. Isn't PUBG the first one that did the territory that's shrinking? I'm sure something else has probably done it before then. But anyways, it's been fun so far. Still not one of my favorite franchises, but it's enjoyable. I Will Become the Greatest Villainess or something like that show. This is one of those examples of a show where I think it has a great... It wasn't a great start. I mean, the very beginning of Villainess was okay. And then it kind of built up a really solid first episode. Then getting into the following episodes, it kind of started to... It got good, and it kind of came to this kind of stable area. But the recent episode, potential. Like, this is one of those ones where I'm going to say it has potential, but not that it will deliver on that potential. But the recent episode showed me this show has some massive potential if it actually executes on this. But it wasn't a great start. Like, there's like a lot of the stuff about the outside area with the commoners and her visiting on a regular basis, and a couple question marks as to how she's portraying her villainous nature. The whole joke is that she's trying to be the greatest villainess, and everybody just sees her as incredible. But the recent episode really kind of shows this idea of, now that they're in the school, again, this is based on an Otome game, and she is the villainess. They're sort of portraying it as that everybody is charmed by the main girl, the heroine, and she is going to both help her actually achieve things properly, while at the same time possibly breaking the charm that she has on everybody around her. And I think if they do that right, it could be really cool. Because they have this whole scene where she basically gets asked by the king to guide the heroine, because she is the saint that will change the world. But everybody, she doesn't take criticism, because everybody will attack anybody that criticizes her. And so they want her to guide her. So they have this scene where she goes to school, she walks in front of the heroine and says, "I seen your presentation that you submitted about this idea on how to bring equality upon the kingdom." And she basically just refutes the essay that she wrote by saying that it was too bland. It was too shallow. You want all these concepts of, you know, everybody being equal, but you have divides in different classes and whatnot that should still be there in structure. Just basically says you didn't put much thought into this. It's too shallow. And she's calling her out in front of all the male interests of the actual Otome game. And over time, one of the characters, I think it was one of her brothers, his eyes flickered. It almost kind of gave this indication that the charm was being broke, while everybody else is just completely like zombies to her. And I'm like, this could be a really cool thing if they deliver on this. It's Maho Films, which, if people don't know, I hate Maho Films. I think Maho Films is one of the worst studios out there right now that just always creates subpar. That does bother me, but it's not ruining it. I'm going to put it high A. Yeah, I'm going to put it high A. And again, it could totally fall apart after this. But I have this hope. It could totally do something really cool with this. I hope so. It was how to help the people in the village, but I didn't talk about how they will integrate. Right. Again, it's shallow. It's shallow how it does it. She wants equality, but she's like, but that you have to have those established tiers. How do you bring people in there? Yeah, it's very shallow how she presented it. It's a good point. She's talking about how I want everybody to be happy in roses. Without a plan, it makes no sense, really. And it's cool to think about that because, again, everybody's acknowledging that she does have the power to win everybody over. She could implement something that will destroy the nation because she won't think it through. And that's what she's technically doing that. Maho is safe for real or for real? Did you watch the level 2 unique skill show? Did you watch... By Grace of the God, season 1 was okay, but season 2 was... No. What was the other show that Maho Films is doing this season? Blue Wolves. There he is. Yes, Sky. That's right, because I recently watched Blue Wolves. Yes, it's Blue Wolves of what you call it? Blue Wolves of the Arslan Senki Arslan Senki post samurai story. Don't badmouth. I'm not badmouthing Nina. I was thinking that it was Maho Films that was working on Nina. I've seen pretty much all of their stuff. Yeah. Pretty much is all my, but it's just they get super wonky at times. Like it's one of those cases where every now and then it gets so wonky it just distracts the hell out of me. Like for example, with Villainess, when she was trying to train herself, the scenes where she's doing push-ups and stuff and sit-ups inside of her bedroom, it's like, what are those limbs? Like what's wrong with her body? And then you have the whole scene where she's eating food and like her hand looks like it's some kind of crab hand and she's just diving food into her mouth. It's super weird. Speaking of bad animation though, Demon Lord Retry art, it's a C, maybe a D tier for me. This has just been mostly recap so far with this season. Like 3 episodes of recap / poorly done recap. It's like Odd Taxi levels, Odd Taxi the movie levels of recapping. It's just not, it's not good. I'm gonna put it in D. I hope it gets better. I enjoyed the first season, but this new season's like, I don't even know why I'm bothering at this point. Hey everyone, glad to join the stream. Hope you're doing well, Andrew. Well, welcome to the stream, Duhalt. Late as always. I'm always glad to have you coming in late. Personally, my favorite Villainous story is Accomplishments of the Duke's Daughter, but I don't think that will ever have an anime. I think anime-wise, so far my favorite Villainous story, Sunrise? Tsundere Liselot? I think that was what it was called. Yeah, Kobayashi Live. Yeah, right. I really like that one. There's a couple of ones I really, really like, so I typically do at least enjoy Villainous stories. And I do like the other one from this particular writer. If I remember correctly, this writer, unless it's the Damsel or Villainous, one of the two of them, they also did the one that was a couple seasons ago that was really decent for the first half, but then kind of fell apart. I think it was Damsel is the writer from that one. Anyways. The Wolves of something or other, it's okay. I've only watched one episode of it. It's okay. The ending of the episode kind of put a nasty taste in my mouth. Like, it opens up decent. Like, it's introducing the idea of these, Ronins, whatever, that are coming in there, and nobody likes to talk nicely about them because they're causing problems. And then they come into this town, come to find out they're actually there to catch some kidnappers. They put him and his sister in danger in order to find the kidnappers. He gets mad at them and then immediately says, train me so I can get stronger to protect people. It was the ending of the episode was kind of like, okay, that was kind of weird conversation. I don't know how the conversation went that direction, but it's a decent setup. I'm still watching more of it, but again, I only have one episode to go by. Anyways, Trillion Game. It's okay. Trillion Game is okay. It definitely is a show where I watched, I think, like 4 episodes of it, and I'm not really feeling excited to watch any more of it. I think it's decent. It's a good setup. I think I just don't care for the main guy. I don't care for the characters really in general. I don't think I really care for the characters in general. Like, yes, he's super charming and charismatic. That's his character. He's a whiny nerd. That's his character. She's kind of twisted. She's not really that much of the show so far. I mean, she's literally in like 3 scenes. I don't like the style, and I just don't really find the characters too appealing, but it's a decent setup so far. I mean, it's like a B tier. It's still like a B tier. I don't know that I'll continue it though, just because I'm not like, again, I'm not excited to go rush and watch the next episode. And I think that's my biggest problem. If you don't rate Bleach S, people will strike. Me and Bleach, we've had a rough time recently. Me and Bleach have had rough time recently. I started kind of falling. I mean, I enjoy Bleach. It's overall, Bleach is easily my favorite shonen of all time. If you put up like Naruto, if you put up all those big shonens, those big epic shonens, put them all up there. I haven't watched One Piece yet, by the way. Maybe that'll be my number one when that comes. Bleach has been my number one shonen of all time. I think Ichigo is the best shonen main character. I think he's an incredible character. I like his character a lot. I like his personality. He's such the anti-shonen. Like, so many people want him to be this thing, and he just doesn't go with it. But I will admit, like, the 1,000 Year Blood War, there's a couple things about this recent arc that I don't like, especially with the trying to make him literally the everyman. That felt like a little bit of a stretch there. I've never liked. There's a couple characters I never really liked coming to the forefront, but I think overall I'm just tired of shonens recently. I've grown tired of shonens, and so a lot of the battles don't really click for me as much as they do for a lot of people. So there's a bit of a struggle for me when I go into another battle with this season of Bleach, where you have Ichigo's going crazy. Oh my gosh. But I know he's not going to win. Oh, he wasn't using his eyes. Now he's using his eyes, so now Ichigo's got to lose. But no, Ichigo's not going to lose. He's going to do this now, and that's going to surprise him. I'm getting tired of the back and forth, but I still like it. I want to see how it concludes. I think visually it's been really fantastic, besides the trope. I don't know why anime thinks the whole lines running into each other over and over again thing is entertaining. I've never gotten it. Yes, a lot of shows do it. It's not a Bleach only thing. But the rest of the animation has been incredible. Visually, style-wise, has been incredible. I think Bleach has an incredible style to it, which is another reason why I think it's my favorite shonen of all time. I'm putting an A. I'm putting an A. High A. High A for me. Another feeling, basically, I stopped reading Neketsu. The only recent exception has been One Piece, Black Clover, and da-da-da. Yeah, I hate it. Like, I personally do hate it, because it happened, the same thing happened with me with My Hero Academia. I want to continue enjoying My Hero... excuse me. I want to continue enjoying My Hero Academia, because I really liked it. Like, its first season, I really liked it. Second season, I liked it. And then at some point, I just fell off of it. But I want to keep watching it because I've invested all the time into it. But I've gotten to this point now where I just don't care anymore. Like, I've gotten tired of the back and forth in battles. Oh, they use this ability now. Now they're winning. But no, they weren't using their full power, so now they're winning. Oh no, they're now using their full power, so now they're winning. And it's like this constant back and forth, and it's like I'm so tired of it. My Hero Academia, a lot of that has to do with the shonen I'll save you thing. Like, going into the last couple seasons where it's just like, oh, but he's hurting inside. But they killed an entire town. But no, he's inside and he's hurting. I get it, but you kind of have to stop him. But no, he's crying. Oh, what? But no, she's crying. It's like, really shut up about crying. Anyways, I'm ranting about My Hero Academia now. All Guy Mixer. All Guy Mixer. I think All Guy Mixer is a prime example of a show that does everything right, but it's not for me. Not that it's not for me, because I do enjoy it when I watch it. So correction there. There's a lot of it that is not for me because it's very fujoshi. It's very fujoshi. Like, it's very guy love jokes all over the place. Like, I would say probably like half the jokes are guy BL jokes. I think it's still got a lot of charm to it. I like the characters, but it's a show that I just literally do not even go out of my way to watch. Like, I have to push myself to go watch another episode of it, because quite a bit of it is just not my humor. I really love All Guy Mixture, and that's the thing. Like, I hate fujoshi jokes. I don't hate BL. I have a dislike for BL anime. Like, I've watched a lot of BL anime. It was the ones that were sent to me by Nozomi Entertainment when I used to do back before Right Stuff, before they were killed off by Sony. Right Stuff used to have, for those that don't, this goes way back for those that don't know. Before Right Stuff was killed by Sony, they had a group that actually, you know, licensed and distributed anime. And they used to get a lot of BL anime. And so they would send those to me, and I would have to watch those BL anime. And they weren't great. They weren't great. But no, like, fujoshi humor in general, I'm not really like a huge fan of. But I have enjoyed this show. Like, it is not like a show that I hate it when I'm watching it. It's just, for the most part, it's not something I go after. But I do find the characters really cute. I think the puppy dog dude is just, he's so pure, it's funny. And the fact that he's hooked up with literally the BL mangaka is great. And then you have over here, I think I don't remember what her name is, the blonde hair girl. I think she's easily like my favorite. She's super cute. You seen people strike? Strike what? Why Bleach is on not S? Because it's not S. Secret, I would not like to. Oh, you're talking about spell. But yeah, it's decent. It's decent. I mean, it's not a terrible show, but it's just not a show that I'm like actively going after every single week. Really, is what it is. Dragon Ball Daima. How many episodes we have of Daima so far, or that I've watched? I think I've watched 2. I think I watched 2 episodes. The first episode was mostly recap. Like, it was mostly all recap. Second episode was mostly setup. So really haven't had too much to work with here. I literally, now that I think about it, Dragon Ball Daima, I really have nothing to work with here. It's like, first episode's legit recap and establish where we're at in the timeline. By the way, we're post Boo, and we're not beyond that. Everything was super, which is easily like my least liked arc of the Dragon Ball franchise. We're gonna cut that out, which is great, because I think we're kind of going back to before the show kind of got less interesting for me. I don't like Super, by the way. I like Beerus. I really like Beerus. I just don't like the Universal competition arc. I just felt like that just, what are we even doing anymore? Like, I just feel like we're just going into the realm of untouchables at this point, but we're still trying to make everybody legitimate. Yes, I've been known for saying, and I didn't get as much heat as I thought I would, I like GT better than Super. There's a lot in GT that's not great, but I like the storyline of GT better. I like the idea of the Dragon Balls and all the wishes they've done coming back and biting them in the butt, basically. Literally having repercussions for every single wish they've ever made. I feel like the story should continue from GT and make it canon. That would make everybody mad, because it was like completely not canon. I think people are 50-50 down GT. I think most people that like GT, and this is just completely me talking about my butt, I think the people that like GT just like the idea of SSJ4 and all that kind of crap. Like, the later transformations of like Goku with like the tail and everything. I'm sorry, like, some of the best look for Goku is that stuff, dude. It looks so amazing. I'm not seeing GT because it's not canon. I mean, why not? I mean, it's not gonna undo all of your love for the franchise for watching it. SS God is an asshole. Yeah, that's another thing. I just think, like, again, a lot of that later stuff, getting into the universes and stuff, just,
I mean, I liked seeing the alternate universes. Don't get me wrong. I think the idea, the concepts of like literally running into another universe where, you know, the Saiyans aren't dead was super cool. But when we started getting to the idea of like, oh, here's an alternate universe Frieza, but this one's nice. It's like, do we really need the what ifs? Like there was so many what ifs that at some point it felt like they were just going down the line and going, what else can we what if? Like at some point it got repetitive with the what else can we what if? So it's fine though. I watched it, still enjoyed it. Just wasn't my favorite arc. Anyways, Daima, again, based on a recap episode and I like seeing my characters again. I don't have much to work with to say like, oh my gosh, I'm incredibly excited. I am super excited to get what is essentially his swan song. Like it's not really classified as a swan song, but it's literally the last thing that he worked on. Like I watched Sandland and finished Sandland because I just wanted to finish like one of the last things that he's ever touched. And so there's a side of me that's excited to watch it just out of respect for the creator, and this being like the last thing that he physically worked on before he passed away. So I still have an excitement there. I love seeing my characters. They're great. Want to see more of them, but we'll see. We'll see. I've actually always liked the original Dragon Ball. Like the original Dragon Ball, the original style of Goku. I like GT because of that concept of him getting turned into a kid again. And so this kind of falls in that same territory, just seeing him more juvenile, which he's always juvenile, let's be honest. Goku is fun. Question: do you like Vegeta with a mustache? I like Vegeta with the mustache. I think Vegeta looks great with a mustache. I like Vegeta being a grumpy man in general. Like not villain grumpy, but like grumpy man in general. And that's when he's at his best. SSH4 is better than just blue hair color. I like I'm blanking on the name of it. Full Instincts? What was it called? What was the final form in Super? Something Instincts? My gosh, it's been so long since I watched it. I like that form. I mean, it's not the best, but it's not terrible. Ultra Instincts? Yeah, so Ultra Instinct, that's right. At least I got the instinct part right. I would feel terrible if I didn't get at least part of it right. It was hard to remember because I know that typically most people just call it UI Goku. Fiance. Yakuza Fiance. This is, again, similar to the Villainess, I'll become the greatest Villainess, whatever. Where, like, it has a promise. I hate the main two of Yakuza Fiance. I think she has spark in her that is fun. I do like the spark that is in the main character. But she does some incredibly stupid stuff. Like, she is a very stupid main character. Like, I'm still trying to figure out why she actually sold her kidney. For those that have not watched the series, she gets shipped off by her grandfather to go possibly marry the boy of another family. And these families are kind of like, they're neutral and pairing with each other. Like they're in a culmination, but there's like, yes, semblances of that. Some groups want to fight other groups. There's going to be some issues with I think with the East and the West or whatever. And I think there's like an element of them kind of wanting to create a bond through that relationship. And she does not like the dude. The dude is a Yakuza. He is very violent, very nasty. And at some point she's going to give up. So she contacts her grandfather and is like, I don't like this. I want to come back home. This dude's bad. And he's like, just be with him for a year. Make him fall in love with you. And then after a year, break up with him. Destroy him. And so her response to this isn't that she's going to do that. She just comes to school the next day. And she had sold her kidney and gave him the money. But she wasn't trying to win him over, but it wins him over because he's like, holy crap, I want you to wreck me. That's what he's been looking for. He hates these girls that are just very passive or they're whiny or whatever. He wants a woman that's strong that will destroy his life. And this obviously makes him like her. But that wasn't her intention. She was just literally trying to get back at him by selling her kidney. And I thought it was a joke. I thought that she was legit lying to impress him. No, she legit sold her kidney. Like, she has the pains. And it's like, what? Why would you do that? I understand if she did that in order to look bad and try to impress him, but she wasn't doing that. Anyways, she sold her kidney. But there's a semblance here that I like. There was a moment where she does. There's this girl that went missing, and they're trying to figure out where she's at. She ends up spotting the girl, and they end up confronting the girl. And they have this scene where she just got this blow dryer, and they're confronting this group of people that has the girl in there with them. She actually was trying to ditch out on some gambling debt that she has, and they have this big fight in there. And she's literally she gets punched early on. She gets back up, takes this freaking thing out, this blow dryer out, and beats some dude over the head with it. And it's like, it had a moment there of like, I like these two as like the Yakuza pair, like this Yakuza family, like, essentially. And I'm like, I can see where this could be really good, like just them being like a nasty Yakuza couple. But it's everything outside of that that's like that one moment where I'm like, I don't like these characters. I legit just don't like these characters. They're not entertaining. They're not enjoyable. Except for every now and then in her head, I find her enjoyable. It has promise, though. It has promise. I don't like how it looks. I really don't like the style. Really don't like the style. It looks super off. Yakuza policy, possibly. I mean, it could be a reference to something Yakuza related. Like, he did tell her to go make some money or something like that. Go sell yourself, and she was trying to do that. That was the whole implied idea there, is that he says that he doesn't have anything to do with her and to get lost. And he says, you know, the best thing you can do is just go sell your body. And she does that for him. Okay. How's the list going? So far, everybody agrees me with the S tier. I think everybody agrees me on the S tier. Somebody's mad that I put Bleach in A. I think that's the only controversial thing I've done so far. That's good. If the only controversial thing I've done so far is one show not being an A, which is incredibly good, but not being an S tier, I think I'm doing pretty good. I think I'm doing pretty darn good. Somebody was mad at me for putting... What the fan art's obviously not going to like that I put not My Dress Up Darling down here. But that's... Uzumaki D tier? Why? Why is that a crime? Uzumaki, the manga, is incredible, but is it bad to put the anime in D? Danmachi. That last episode was super crazy. Yeah, episode 4 of Danmachi season 5 was so freaking good. Like, my recording of that was like 25 minutes long, and I had to stop myself. Like, I'm just like running down millions of rabbit holes. Super brain melt moment. Like, I'm thinking, like, what could this possibly mean? I want to say the season so far has been pretty S tier for me. Like, it's probably high A, low S. Really enjoy it. Really super happy with the season so far. Damage keeps getting better. Yeah, like, season 4 was super good. I didn't like how it ended. I thought it was very anticlimactic ending. But season 4 was really good, and season 5 has been excellent, so I'm glad to see Danmachi really kicking up now. I mean, like I said in my video, it's like I expected something coming up, but what sort of is... It's not the reveal of it. It's the ramifications of it is what I'm more interested in. What does everybody think about this thing now being gone? Does it transfer? All that kind of stuff is really kind of the more thing that really gets my mind going. When was who when? Is really the question I was having too. Yeah, it's definitely implied, which is, it's not like trying to trick, I don't think. After school, Hanako-kun. Yeah, the only problem that Danmachi has is that there's more Hestia this time around, but they need more Hestia and more Lily. There's been barely any Lily, and Lily is my favorite. That's the biggest problem this season has. After school, Hanako-kun. After school, Hanako-kun's kind of having the same problem that the first season had, where it's like it has some really good episodes, and then it has some good skits, but then other skits are kind of shrug. I think overall it's kind of just decent. It's just more. It's almost like skip content Hanako-kun. I still love the style of it though. I think Hanako-kun has a very great style to it. I think the thing that I loved, that the segment I loved most about the first season was definitely the two brothers' sister. One, because of her seiyuu, but like just having this cute little girl and suddenly realizing she's like incredibly powerful. And so now I'm like, I really badly want more of her. Like, bring back the extremely OP lolly character. Blue Box. This will probably be my next like controversial pick right here. Blue Box is. It was so funny because people were kind of talking about the Netflix ratings for Blue Box, at least in Japan, because it's not really charted in the global market. But in Japan, at least, it charted for a brief moment. And I kind of pointed out that it's probably because they had first 2 episodes dropped immediately, and that probably jumped it up quite a bit. But I fall in the same category as Japan, where it's like it feels like the first episode or 2 was solid, and then it just kind of like it just very quickly kind of just drops. I think it looks visually Blue Box looks visually really good. It has a solid start. The introductions of the characters is good. I think a lot of the chemistry between the characters is solid. The main character sucks. The main character is just bad in my opinion. Like the main focus character is just not. He's okay. He's not a bad guy. It's just that he's extremely boring to watch because all he cares about is the girl. It's a romance. I know, right? It's shocking, a romance where the main character thinks about the girl that he likes. But I just usually with my romance shows, my slice of life shows, I like the main character to think about something besides just the female love interest, and he just literally thinks about nothing but her, and it kind of makes it boring. It's still good though. Hina best girl, obviously, and she's obviously going to lose. She's going to cry. I'm going to hate the show because of it, and it's obvious it's going to happen, and I don't look forward to it, but I'll watch it, and I'll have to worry about that. Yeah, there was a semblance in the 4th question mark episode, the episode where he gets paired up with his senpai. There was a semblance of like starting to enjoy him a little bit more. I was just frustrated by the fact that the reason why he got more into badminton is because he's trying to be able to stand next to his love interest. I was hoping it'd be more like, okay, this is my future. Badminton is my future. Inspiration is obviously a thing there, and he's getting inspiration from her. And it's obvious that he's going to think of her because she's his inspiration. I just want more. I want more from him. Easy A for me. I don't find him boring. He does talk about badminton stuff too. Right. He's getting better. It's the writing around him is getting better. But the first 3 episodes were rough. Like the first 3 episodes were super rough. Like a good example. Okay, let me do a comparison here so people understand what I mean here. Dangers in My Heart. Yes, from the very get-go, he's obsessed with the love interest. The dude he wants to see her bloody. That was the whole idea of the beginning of Dangers in My Heart, is that he wants to see her, this very popular girl, bloody, because he has this kind of sick mind that he's kind of gets wrapped into because he likes murder mysteries and stuff like that. He's got a dark mind. That's the whole idea. Dangers in My Heart. Initially, it's Dangers in My Heart. It's not really what I think the Danger in My Heart means, but he's got unpleasant thoughts about the main love interest. But over time, what happens is that, yes, you have a lot of interaction between the two of them, but what's constantly happening is that our main character is actually thinking about his own problems, his own insecurities, and his own issues. He has other things that he's thinking about and other things that he's dealing with. That makes a good character, in my opinion, is a character that has more drive and worth than just the main goal, which is the girl. So, but again, 3 or 4 episodes to work with here. This show can do something else, and I'm eager to see it. It's just so far, not much. There's a problem, right? You compare it to Danger in My Heart because Danger in My Heart is an example of what it can be. I want everything to be like Danger My Heart. I want Blue Box to be as good as Danger My Heart. I would love for Blue Box to destroy Danger My Heart. Because in that, then why is that great? Because I get another really great show to watch. I get another really great show to watch. Yeah. Yeah. True. I did not like Danger My Heart for... I was okay with Danger My Heart. I was fine with Danger My Heart. It was just the basketball in the face changed everything. Like, from that point on, that show took off. It just took off. What if it's so depressed? That's the story. If you're so depressed that you don't want to have anything else, that's the story. Get into it. Right? That's the story. That's the drive. That's the reason. Get into that. Really is what it is. Dun dun dun. The show that everybody, that like a good chunk of people are probably here for and will probably leave the stream for. So thank you to everybody that dropped by that's going to leave once Dun Dun Dun's been covered. Because that happens with every single one of these tier lists. I'll have that one show everybody's waiting for and they leave. So thanks for dropping by. Dun Dun Dun. Is it S? Is it S? Should I put it... Is it S-worthy? Is it good enough to stand with the likes of ReZero, Orb, Natsume Jinsho, Tsumasho, at least for me. I know that some people don't like Tsumasho. And episode 4 of and episode 4 of Danmachi season 5. I don't know. I would probably put Danmachi in A just for the first 2 episodes. 3 and 4 were really good, though. 3 and 4 were really good. But anyways, would Don go into the likes of the S tier? Or will it go down here in the lowly A tier? Like, where Bleach is at, because Bleach is so horrible, it's in the lowly A tier. Like, A is not a good place to be. Yes. We're in S tier. We're in S tier. I'd probably put it just below Orb. God, that's hard. Like, I would say Orb and Dandadan are, like, equal. Again, Natsume Jinsho, the first 2 episodes have not been incredible. And I'm expecting Natsume Jinsho is going to get a lot better going forward. But between Orb and Dandadan, they're different reasons. Like, Orb is incredible directing and storytelling. Orb is so freaking good. But Dandadan's just super fun, and the chemistry is incredible. Like, it's characters and chemistry and incredibly fun animation versus incredible storytelling, character build, and directing. Like, they're both great directing, by the way. They're just different things, different reasons why I like them. So it's really hard for me to really kind of pin the 2 of them against each other. And again, ReZero technically has like 50 plus episodes to really kind of be fighting again. It's kind of unfair. Love you, man. Just dropping by to let you know I love Mashiko Mondays, and they made me really love the novel and series along with your reactions, relatability, and theories. Keep doing what you're doing, man. Thank you so much, Goob. I appreciate the support. Thank you so much for dropping by and let me know that. That makes my day, man. The support... Mashiko Monday has been like more of a blessing for me than it really has been for anybody else. Like, just the community, people kind of supporting the channel, reading alongside a lot of other people. It's really, for a lot of people, it's like them experiencing Mashiko Monday for the first time through me, even though there's a lot of people that get mad at me. They get mad at me for my theories. Some people don't like me cooking. Some people don't like my cooking. Why? I didn't think I was a bad cook, but apparently some people don't like my cooking. I'm definitely, I guess I'm not geese territory of cooking specialty. I guess I'm in the Roxy specialty of cooking. But I appreciate the support, man. Thank you so much for dropping by and saying that. Hopefully you're still here to hear this. As under ReZero, good character, synergy, heartfelt backstory so far, good animation. You did say that you like it more than usual. Mid-S tier. Now you just have to have fun teasing the Dun Dun fans. Now I'm just having fun teasing them. I got you. Well, if anybody's been following me for a while, they know that I'm not going to put it not in S tier. That's for the people that aren't watching my content, and so they deserve it. If you don't know how much I love Dandadan, and you're here, that means you're not watching my content, and thus shame on you. You haven't watched Orb yet? You have not watched Orb yet? Shame on you. Go watch Orb. Orb's top tier show. Way more teeth than Orb for me. There's more wieners too. There's more wieners in Orb too. Well, no, there's anyways, there's some eunuchs in there, so so your death god then, no one likes your cooking. Certain people like my cooking. Certain people like the death god's cooking. Some people have an acquired taste. They're kind of obnoxious, but they have a good redemption arc. I like this very vague teasing. Orb impressed me. Dandadan is B tier for me. Well, that's just your opinion, bro. I'm just joking. I hope it turns out better for you. I've been really enjoying it. Like I said before, I dig the chemistry. Like, the chemistry is so freaking fun, dude. I just love, they're just dorky kids chomping down on some old lady's bags. Something on her cooking. I've been getting a lot more lately, especially with this recent volume. I had way too much fun this last 2 chapters with Mushoku Monday, so look forward to Monday. I think I talked way too much this next Mushoku Monday. Magilumier. I really like this show. I can't put it in S, but I really like it. I really, really, really like Magilumier so far. It does have some low points. There's some parts of it that aren't great, but I think just overall, I think it's a massive surprise for me. I had a semblance that I was going to enjoy it from the get-go. For those who don't know, it's basically a world where it's like being a magical girl is another job. Like, you can become an accountant, or you can become a magical girl. And magical girls in this world work for different companies. There's low-tier startup companies. There's the big corporations. And this girl ends up joining a startup, a magical girl company. And she's, like, really good at memorizing stuff and studying stuff. And she's pretty much having to work with a bunch of people that are just kind of winging it. They're just winging it. So it's like a good chemistry from the get-go. I like the main girl. She reminds me of the girl from New Game. Just kind of being thrown in the situation. Being very much a straight man in a very kind of bonkers company. But it's been really good so far. It's been a lot of fun. I like the characters. Their chemistry is really solid. I love it. I love it so far. Personally, this is our first episode and binge the full manga of Dandadan in one place. I did the opposite. Like, I scoped the first chapters just to see what they might censor. And then I've just been watching the anime. I think the only problem I have with Dandadan is that I'm starting to kind of get sick of the red. Am I alone on that with Dandadan? I'm starting to get sick of the red. Like, when I'm watching it, I don't notice it. But I'm kind of getting sick of red. And this is totally a Science Saru thing. Totally a Science Saru thing. This is something that I've always had a problem with Science Saru, is that they're artistic but plain at the same time. And sometimes I feel like it's lazy. The use of the reds is still great. Like, it's not just smattering red. It's not like they just fill in all the boxes with red. They're giving it a shade. It's different uses of red that still give a sense of objects and whatnot, but it's almost like you know, it's like video games. Like, for the longest time, people got sick of how gray video games were, like a lack of color and lushness to it. It works technically because they're typically in the dark, and a show being fully dark would probably be less visual. So the reds technically do help give the environments and the characters more pop. But again, I do argue that I feel like it's plain sometimes. Anyways, stylistic choice. I understand. And again, it works for the dark. Gushing over Magical Girl changed my view on Magical Girls. Dude, different reasons. Different reason. Corporate Magical Girls, yeah. In the long run, Dandadan is less good that what I was hoping for, why I probably make it be. I'm just happy that it's like one of those shows that's massively hyped that's actually working. Like, because there's so many seasons where, like, this is the one that's charting on everything. Everybody's super excited about this show, and everybody's going crazy. And I watch it, and it's either half the time it's like, it's okay. Like, I'm not, like, ecstatic about it. And there's other times where it's like, you feel like you're on the bench and you don't get it. Like, you want to get it. Like, you want to be part of the hype, but you just don't get it. Like, why is this so popular? No problem with color. Yeah, like I said, when I'm watching the show, I don't mind it. I really don't mind it when I'm watching it. The only thing that really bugs me when I'm watching Dandadan is framiness. Like, Science Saru does this where most of the time the animation is very fluid and great, and then every now and then it almost feels like they took and they cut frames. So the characters, when they're moving, you almost see these kind of jump forwards in animations. Like they didn't get all the cuts done, and so all the in-betweens weren't completed, and so it kind of jumps a lot. They do that a lot. I don't know if it's like a corner cutting thing or a production issue thing, but I assume it's a choice because they do it a lot. Like, I've seen it in other shows they've done. Again, it doesn't ruin the show. It doesn't ruin the show. It is a thing that I do notice, and it kind of bugs me. You're crazy always with the Science Saru's take for me? What's crazy about it? It's just my opinion, bro. I've always been an outsider when it comes to Science Saru. Like, the only show that I've been like... Let me look. I think the only show that I was super positive on with Science Saru was Hike Story. This might be a trigger situation where I think I'm bad on them, and I'm not really that bad. Let's see. That I've watched of theirs. I didn't like Devilman Crybaby. Izoken I dropped. I wasn't a big fan of it. Japan Sinks 2020. I liked it up until the later parts. And then it gets really stupid, but that's more of a story. That's not their fault. Hike Story I loved to death. Loved it all the way through. There's a couple in here that I really still need to watch. I did not like Yorideko. Oh gosh, Yorideko was so blah. Wasn't that an original too? Yeah, that was an original. Yorideko was so blah. Holy crap. What a snore that show was. It had potential though. Like, it had a potential there, but God, I just was so bored watching it. I dropped it. But that's just my opinion, bro. Hey guys, Monogatari is one of my favorite shows. It's super good. I really loved it. That is one of those cases where I just don't see anybody else, any other studio pulling that off as well. Like maybe KyoAni, maybe Shaft, old Shaft and current Shaft with like Monogatari series could probably pull that off. But yeah, Science Saru was like the perfect studio for that show. Izuka and I got so bored of watching. Izuka was so boring for me. Like, I get what they were doing. It wasn't working. Like, it just was not working for me. Anyways, Nino the Starry Bride. Nino the Starry Bride. I like Nino. I think Nino is a solid character. I like her story. She's the street rat that has nothing, that is given something, given a new life. She has a little bit of a self-crisis. And I think what they're doing with her character is solid. I think the thing that I thought early on that I was going to struggle with was her relationship with the prince. But I think that they did well in sort of equating the two of them, giving them both sort of a similar circumstances and the idea they're both fake, basically. But I'm not entirely sold on their relationship, even though it does seem like they're trying to push their relationship forward very quickly. But other than that one kind of misgiving that I have with their relationship and how it's building, I think it's a good surprise for me. Like, I am actually enjoying it a lot more than I initially thought that I was going to enjoy it. It's a solid setup. I'm very curious as to how they're going to handle her relationship of essentially being married off to another kingdom, and how they're somehow going to manage to still keep them in contact. Because typically that's something where it's like, once they're married off, you're not seeing them again. There's no reason why you would ever have contact with each other again. But I don't know. It could end up doing it decently well. But I've been enjoying it. I've been enjoying it a lot more than I thought I would. Yeah, I mean, that's most of these shows. Most of these shows are still prologue. Most of these shows are still setting up. Unless it's a season 2 or something. Is it A? I'm gonna put it in B. I'm gonna put it in high B for right now. If I get too much stuff in B, I'll bump it up there. For right now, it's a high B for me. Izoken was so good. Yeah, a lot of people love it. Again, in my opinion, I think a lot of people love the series. It's fine. I'm happy when people enjoy things that I don't care for. It just means that it worked out for somebody else. Like this, different opinions are great, right? Izuku was very matter of why people liked animation. Yeah, it was very inspirational. It was definitely going for inspiration. Animation alone can't always carry a show. I mean, there is artistic value to things that you can enjoy just for a visual spectacle, but yeah, I can't really think of many cases where I continue watching a show just for visuals. Like, Jujutsu Kaisen, great example. I fell off on Jujutsu Kaisen a long time ago. Like, well, not a long time ago. I didn't care for the recent season. Like, I started Jujutsu Kaisen's recent season started losing me. And I kept watching it, and just the animation alone was not entertaining me. I mean, there was some great fight scenes. Like, the whole bathroom fight scene was super freaking good. The choreography and everything was spectacular. But I wasn't entertained just from that alone. I stopped caring about the characters and the story a long time ago. And so it wasn't a great watch for me. And that show has some of the best animation that you can find anywhere. My Hero Academia still has some really incredible animation pieces in it here and there. I mean, the CGI hordes of dudes was not great, but it still has a lot of incredible animation in it. Lost me. I don't care much for the characters much. Slime Girl. Puniru. Puniru is a kawaii slime-oo. Just for the booby chopping off scene, we'll put it in S tier. Just for lopping off her boobies to gift it to the guys, S tier. Now, legit, Puniru is a show that I get one LOL moment every episode, and that tides me over for the week. I think it's cute, it's fun, it's charming. But it's not laugh out loud comedy all the time. I get like one incredibly funny moment every episode so far, and the rest of it's just okay. But it's been enjoyable. It's been an enjoyable little ride. I think it's a little bit more in that realm where it does absurdly inappropriate things, but then most of the time it's trying to go for more of a borderline not trying to be a kid's show, but trying to be a kid's show while being inappropriate at the same time kind of realm, which kind of keeps it in that safe area that kind of bugs me, but it's fun. It's fun. It's like a crude kid's show. Is it brain rot? No, it's not going for brain rot. Like, it's not trying that hard. I mean, it has its moments. Like, the crazy, like, mommy mode character that goes psycho when she sees little kids could probably get that realm, but it's not really. I dropped it half the episode, but it kept right in the back of my head, like I'd like it. Demon Slayer, same for me. Good thinking. Yeah, I mean, Demon Slayer is also kind of that realm. I mean, Demon Slayer still has its moments for me, but yeah, Demon Slayer has been falling off. But again, like I mentioned way back here when I was talking about Bleach, is my problems are my own. I've gotten tired of a lot of the shonen tropes, the build-ups, the overcoming, and he beat me, now I'm gonna beat him. He's beat me, now he's got his new power. Now he beat me, and I beat him, and back and forth. So, oh, now we're gonna start a fight, Demon Slayer versus JJK. No commento. No commento. Best girl in a box is greater than JJK. There you go. I'll say that much. Best girl in a box beats JJK. That's as much as I'll say. Puniru is Aho Girl meets Ted if it was like PG-13 in the best way. The anime club I'm part of loves it as well. It's so funny and subtly nodding. I like the subtle naughtiness. Like I said, it's kind of breaking in that area where it's like too much. JJK is garbage. I really liked JJK at the start. I think it had a really good start. I still like Gojo. I still love Gojo. That's why I didn't like the last season, because there's not much Gojo. JJK is good when it's got Gojo. He's the only good part of that show. Ghoul School. Yeah, like I said, don't expect Puniru is going to make it make you laugh all the time, but it has some really great moments. It's just like these really absurdly crazy moments. Ghoul School, unfortunately, is not working for me. It's not that it's a bad show. It's just its humor is not working for me. It is absolutely a comedy is not working for me. And I've talked to some people where the comedy works for them. Comedy's objective kind of thing here. The comedy's not working for me. It's just, I think because a lot of it I've seen before. It's kind of going through the formula of here's all the different yokai and let's do a joke about each of the yokai. It's kind of doing that thing. Not completely, but it does sort of rely a little bit on that whole thing. Like, here is the misconceptions of them. Like, it gets in like, it has the tanuki thing. Well, the tanuki puts its sack on its head? No, it doesn't really do that. That's a misconception. Does that kind of stuff. Shrug. So, like, it's not great. It's just funny. And like I said, I've talked to plenty of people. They said the comedy works for them. It just doesn't work for me. It's not that it's a bad show. It's just comedy doesn't work for me. Miss Servant. I think this is the one that hurts the most. This is the one that hurts the most. Daima's good. I don't have much to work with Daima because we had a recap episode and then a setup episode. I'm excited for it though. Super excited for it. Miss Servant is a show that I want to love. I love Miss Servant looks great, by the way. The show itself in general is not a great looking show, but the servant herself looks great. It's a found family story, but it's super basic found family story. Like, it doesn't feel like it wants to try to do something good with it. It's got some good moments. Like, I think her trying to clean and whatnot, bucket on the head stuff is great. I guess it kind of falls in that same territory as something like, I don't want to say it's similar to that one. Like the maid I hired recently is suspicious or whatever. That one's more of a comedy though. This one's kind of going more for found family, where she used to be an assassin, now she's discovering what it's like to have family and cherish things. But I feel like it's just not doing a good job of it. Like it's being very upfront about everything from the get-go, and now it's kind of repetitive with it. Like, it's this week in trauma dumping. It's basically like the how I feel about the show is it's almost like this week in trauma dumping. Like, they go and do something fun, and at the very end, trauma dump. It's not well presented, I guess is the best way to put it. It's still okay, but I just kind of wish that they would focus more with the characters. I'll put it low B. Low B. B for hot maid that chucks knives. She's hot though, and when she chucks knives, she's extremely hot. Maid is great, but do something with the story a little more, please. Yeah, the sister showing up was fun. She is hot. That is for dang sure. I would be so bold as to say that she's hotter than your forger. I would hire her before your forger. Is that a L take? Is that chat? Who wins? Who would you hire first, her or your forger? Miss a lot with these rankings, so I'll be watching the first part of the VOD. Yeah, I'll probably post the VOD separate later on. I'll probably edit it down. Yuki? Neither? Ouch, Earthly. Damn. I think Maid-sama is one of my favorite romantic comedies of the season. It's really cute. I love how the little sister is fawning over Yuki being former sister. Yeah, that was dorky. And it's so great because it's contrast to him where he was terrified of her. She wants a signature though. The sister kind of added a good little bit of chemistry in there, because I think the two of them kind of need a little work with their chemistry, whereas I think the sister kind of helped push them to have a little chemistry in there. I marry Yuki. She don't seem to be my maid. She don't need to be my maid. I say she's cuter than Yor, but Yor whip has the whip appeal. Yeah, she definitely is cuter. Yor definitely feels like a better mom, like for the sake of like the Spy X family story. Like, she feels like she'd be better mom, but yeah, Yuki's got the cuteness. No, we're not bringing other maids in here, because then you say like Rim. Rem's the best maid, obviously. We're not bringing other maids into the equation. Anyways. Give her the sauce and she's yours. That's all she wants is the sauce. All Yuki cares about is the sauce. Exactly. Anyways, I have not started the new season of God App. I've been told it's the same as always. Earthly told me it's the same as the first season, so we'll see. Not Grieving Soul. The Loner Life in Another World. It's more God App, right? I'm actually really liking this more than I thought I would. I'm going to put this in high A. I actually really enjoy Loner Life. It's kind of my... I hate to use this term, but it's like my guilty pleasure this season. It's just stupid fun. Like, the first episode's kind of blah, but then, like, the moment he gets with the other girls, it suddenly starts getting really fun. Like, I love the Gyarus and him subjugating the Gyarus and them falling around like a puppy. The class president is a dork, and he needs to get with her, like, ASAP because she's super cute. All the other girls are really fun. It's just the chemistry really kicked off once you start to have to hang out with the other characters, so it's been goofy. It's getting goofy. It hit you weak point. It hit the weak point, exactly. I think of the entire season, it's probably my biggest surprise, because I honestly came into this season looking at the PV and I'm like, it's gonna be slop. It's gonna be probably like chill life isekai type of stuff, like Farming Life in Another World or something like that. But it actually really kind of hits. So I get to Predator's Spirit Chronicles, not very good, but I vibe with it. Yeah, that was kind of my feelings the first season with Spirit Chronicles. As much as I was frustrated with the first season of Spirit Chronicles, it was kind of a slop show to watch. Besides the Roxy character in that show is really freaking great. Healer turns out to be the most OP. It's like a C. It's not terrible, but at the same time, it feels like it's checking all the boxes. Like, I think Healer banished from the hero that was kicked out of his party is the former healer that is banished hero kicked out of party, is the most OP, most powerful, something like that. It feels like the checking the boxes show of the season. Like, it's just everything is so predictable. It's not even funny. He gets kicked out of the party. Everybody thinks he's the worst, but oh, by the way, he's actually incredibly powerful. But there's that one person that knows that he's incredibly powerful, and they want to hang out with him, and they really like him because they saved him in the past. So now they're hanging out together, and oh yeah, his former party realizes how OP he is, and then they want to get him back, but then he doesn't want to rejoin them, and so now they really hate each other, and it's okay. Like, we're just checking all those boxes. The only thing I really do like is I do like the girl that is, like, obsessed with him. She's kind of cute, so we'll see. I'm still watching it. Grieving Soul. Grieving Soul is another one where I think Grieving Soul was one of those ones where I had a thought that it could be good if they nail the main character. Like, if they pull off the main character as being the character that is faking it to make it, and they pull off his personality, it'll work. What's great is that he's not failing that. Like, it's not as like I don't like the main character, he doesn't pull that off. He does have a Mendokusai kind of attitude. I'm gonna puke, I don't want to be involved with this. He totally pulls off the I know I'm not incredible, but at the same time I kind of have to do something. So it's fine. Like, he didn't fail it. He didn't pull it off. He's fine. He has some good moments though. What I wasn't expecting, well, I knew it was there based on the PV. I wasn't expecting to have as much presence and love for Tino. Thighs. Yes, everybody's already putting in the chat 50 times. Thighs out of 10. Tino's thighs literally makes the show. Tino in general makes the show. I think she's way too much fun. Which, yes, pairs well with the main character. I think her and Cry, they're a solid little grouping there. So I've just from that alone, I've been really enjoying it. The overall story is fine. The idea of, like, all these clans do the missions. It seems like the monsters are getting stronger. It's fine. Yeah, I've been enjoying it more than I thought I would. I really was figuring it was going to be sort of a throwaway, but it's been much more enjoyable than I originally thought it was going to be. So We'll see where it goes. I didn't really care much for Tino's senpai showing up because she's really mean, and she was super mean to Tino, and that really broke my heart. Like, I feel like super bad for Tino. But it's funny. It's funny. I'll put it in the A. I'll put it in the A territory. I think it's up there with all the other A's. So, there you go. There you go. I've only watched 2 episodes of Uzumaki. That's why I'm putting in the... I mentioned that earlier, that I put it in there based on 2 episodes. So, that's exactly correct. Goodbye Dragon Life. It's not as bad as I thought it was going to be. Like, I legit thought that Goodbye Dragon Life would be the farming life in another world type of one for me too. Like, where it's like, it's too slow life isekai, where it's like boring for me. The Lamia is great. I think the moment that the Lamia showed up, I really enjoyed it. Yes, technically, the milkmaid, the milkmaid had me kind of laughing there. But the Lamia is great. I really do like the Lamia character. I haven't watched beyond her joining the town, so I don't have like an idea of where it goes from here. But it's been a lot more enjoyable than I thought it originally was going to be. Not that it's incredible or anything, so it's kind of like in the B territory for me. It's been better than I thought it would be. Spud, shut up. Spud, shut up. Love Live Superstar Season 3 is missing from there. Yeah, I did not finish. I don't remember what happened. Something happened when the first season aired. I was enjoying it, and I got totally sidetracked. I never got back to it. And then the second season came out, and I was like, crap, I gotta still watch the first season. I never got a chance to watch the first season. And now I'm like, I just really need to get caught up. I really need to get caught up. I didn't get a chance to get caught up before this season started, but I wanted to. Because I was legit liking Superstar for the episode that I watched of it. Shangri-La Frontier, I have not watched the new season. I'm sure it's probably going to be shrug for me this season. I enjoyed the first part of the Shangri-La Frontier in general. It's kind of just a dumb, enjoy it, dumb. It's like what I wanted with Gun Gale Online, alternative Gun Gale Online. Just have fun online. Don't make it too serious. They started getting a little bit serious toward the later part there, but overall, Shangri-La Frontier has just been kind of just a fun show. Like, I don't try to think too much of it. I haven't started, or I've gotten behind on Sengoku Youko, but it is technically a second course. I guess I should probably rank it. I'm like 3 episodes behind. The beginning starts of this season I didn't like. Sengoku Yoko's first episodes of this second season were not really enjoyable for me. I think about the moment that they finally got back to going to unseal his father, when they got back to the mountain god, it started taking off for me. Like, that was the point which suddenly finally got past this kind of rut where it's all about like, oh, they forgot their memories, but now they're getting their memories back, and then suddenly the memories come back, but then they get into the Lord of the Land and all that kind of crap. Was just, it didn't work for me. But the moment they got back over towards the mountain god, releasing his father, and getting into the I forget what they were calling them, the people that were manipulating the spirit realm, it started getting a lot better for me. It's kind of like an A tier for me. Like, the beginning half of this first core was like probably like C, but it picked back up. I'm gonna put it in B. I don't want to oversell it. Like, Sengoku Youko overall has not been incredible for me. Like, it has its ruts, but I do enjoy it in the end. Why is Toilet Bound Hanako-kun ranked? Isn't that a 2025 show? It's After School Hanako-kun. It's a short that's currently airing. There's Hanako-kun, Toilet Bound Hanako-kun, and then there's After School Hanako-kun. After School Hanako-kuns are like skit content shorts, I think. First complain GGO because it's not enough enjoy online, and now you complain that Sengoku because it's exactly. I literally said why I enjoyed, what part I enjoyed about that. It does it. I'm not complaining that it's doing that. I'm saying that's why I enjoy it. It just has fun. Anyways, Talker. I think in general I just don't like Talker.
I don't think, like, its first episode super cringe and predictable. I think what it's doing it fine. I just don't like it. Like, I don't like the characters. Like, I think if people want a story about someone that is sick of it, like, it is definitely a story about somebody that's kind of sick of it. Like, he's been wronged and thus he's kind of getting his revenge here and there. But I almost feel like it's in that realm of... There was another one that happened, I think, like, last year. I remember we had a show here recently that... It's kind of one of those stories where everybody around the main character is a dirtbag. Like, everybody is horrible. And thus it justifies him getting revenge or overcoming them. Like, you can expect that every single person he's going to run into will try to wrong him, and he'll get revenge because he's not going to let them bat him or whatever. Like, the moment that he went to that village and they were paying him to get rid of some bandits, I knew immediately they're gonna wrong him and he's gonna get his revenge on them. Sure enough, oh, they come in and drink. He's gonna poison them, and then he's gonna get this. He's gonna, yeah, okay, yeah. Oh, wow, shocker. Oh no, now the daughter's super mad. Okay, whatever. Like, it's super edgy for the sake of being edgy. Yeah, Kingdom of Ruins. Thank you. Yes, it's like Kingdoms of Ruins. It's like everybody has to at some point have an evil derpy face to make it okay to get him back. Like, everybody's scum. It's too much for me. Like, it's just too... It tries too hard. There you go. It tries too hard. It's not a bad show. The chick is hot. The assassin chick's freaking great. I love her. I think she definitely helps with his... Like, their two chemistry together is okay. But he's just too much. Like, he's not likable. He's not very likable. He's justified for everything he does. It's just, I don't like him. The only Edge show I like is Dimensional Shadow because it makes fun of it. Yeah, that's definitely going for the chuny, realized kind of thing. He's not really a character I can get behind. I say this one of my favorite characters is Altair from Recreators. Or was that that was the Villainess bad guy character? Yeah, yeah. I was okay with that ending. Honestly, with Recreators, I know a lot of people didn't like the ending of it. I was okay with it. I was kind of okay with it. I think I was one of the rare people that was okay with that ending. So I guess I fall in the same vein as you do. The design was great. Intel's design was so freaking fantastic. That was what got me that hook initially when in that show. Anyways, the mushroom dog. I don't. This is kind of the same vein as Miss Servant, but it doesn't have a cute, hot maid chick. Like, if you want Miss Servant without the cute, hot maid chick, that's this show. It's just basically trauma dumping every episode without really much substance. It's got a little bit of fluffiness to there because it's basically about a guy that loses his dog. That his dog was basically a replacement of his family that he lost. So he loses his family. The dog is his only pillar, and he loves his dog. And then his dog dies, and he's obviously broken by that. Fully understand it. And I like the idea of watching a show that I can relate to. I mean, we've all lost somebody, and so you can relate to the idea of losing somebody and just a massive part of you is gone. The problem is there's nothing really else there that I enjoy. Like, I don't mind hearing that story. I just have to have something in there to not make it feel just constant depressing. The synopsis of trauma dumb, but like there's more in every episode. Yeah, I've watched, maybe I've only watched 2 episodes. At some point she brings in some dude that's like a massive fan of his. They at some point have an interview and she forces upon him. She tricks him into having to have a photo shoot, but I think it was kind of a D move. They go out for a walk together. Thinks about his old dog. The stupid mushroom dog kicks him off the side of the hill. It's really about this mushroom dog thing that is trying to pretty much get him to move on, which is, yes, healing in itself. It's just not entertaining to watch is really what it is. Appraisal skills, favorite philosophy, find the best people and put them in the right jobs. I was not
I was almost not going to watch Appraisal Skill. I got some time the other day, planning on not watching season 2 at all. I had some time, I decided to fire it up. And I've liked the season so far. For those that missed my review of the first season, I kind of fell off on it. I thought it was a great concept early on because it's basically about a guy with the only good thing about him in this new world, he's a isekai, and he's granted the ability to see everybody's stats. And so he uses this, knowing that there's going to be pretty much turmoil in his kingdom that he's a part of. His father's like the head of one territory. Knowing that there's this massive war coming, he's trying to find people with exceptional skill. So he's trying to surround himself with exceptional skill. I like that. I like his story for once. Unlike Talker apparently this guy is a buffer. He's the weakest of the Seekers. But yet somehow he figures out how to be massively OP, so he doesn't really need a party. So he's like the weakest class, but he still is OP. This is finally an isekai where somebody's legit the weakest, but he's using his skill to improve others. He's surrounding himself with talent rather than him himself being OP. Thank you, for once, an isekai like that. So yeah, he's surrounding himself with OP characters. They're the ones that are OP for him. He just has to make the right decision or to choose the right ones to push forward whenever they need it. He's the leader. I like it. Over time with the first season, it started kind of losing me, but second season is kind of building up again. I do like, so far, most of the episodes of the second season so far, I've actually enjoyed it. So I'm going to continue it. I'm actually going to continue. I originally, coming into the season, I didn't think I was going to pick it up. I did. I'm enjoying it. And I'm excited to see where it goes. So, there you go. It has redeemed itself. It's still not incredible, though. I feel the same way as Rise of Bookworm. Great premise, but I don't want to see the little girl suffer. Rise of a Bookworm? Ascend as a Bookworm? Okay, I was making sure. There could be another show that's called Rise of Bookworm, so I want to make sure. I didn't want to assume what you're talking about. End up making a out of me. Drama, I'm enjoying it. It's got great style. Visually fantastic. The style itself is fantastic. Yes, nipless. At least it's showing more than Urusei Yatsura. About as much as I was going to expect them to show, honestly, with modern day Japan even. I've been enjoying it. It's great. Style's great. Characters are great. Seiyu's great. Everything's working for it. I do admit that Ranma is one of those cases where, unlike Urusei Yatsura, where I think Urusei Yatsura has a problem with a comedy that's very aged, Ranma should be a lot more character focused, and so far it's working really well. Like this recent episode that I watched with him calling her cute and her getting all flustered and everything like that. It's like that vibe of Ranma kind of coming back. So I'm enjoying it. Looks great. Ranma's nerf by censor. It's okay after all. It got nerfed. Nipless. Got cursed nipless is all it is. It's canon. Just got the curse makes him nipless. Yeah, the original one's showing plenty of it, but that's back then Japanese television was really okay with showing it all the time. So, I mean, that's general. Like, Gundam. Do you see Gundam with nudity anymore? No. Back in the day, every single Gundam had plenty of nudity. It's just, unfortunately, broadcast in Japan, it's their expectations have changed a lot. It's not even just a Western thing. And Ranma and Ecchi was about as people make it out. But yeah, it was. I mean, most every single time he transformed, you got to see something. But it's not. Yeah, it's not like every 2 seconds. It's not what you would classify today as being an ecchi show. If you have a show that's classified ecchi these days, it's because every 2 seconds there's a panty shot. But back then, it wasn't classified as ecchi. It was just the norm. Back then, that was the norm. They showed, topless all the freaking time back in the day. These days, it's not really that prevalent. No TV channels show, censor show, they air redo of Healer uncensored. Yeah, that was specifically for Channel 2. The age rating changed to TV 14 on Netflix. Did they get some complaints? Were people still upset by that, even at that point? Should I watch the original before the remake? I mean, the original's not even faithful adaptation either. I mean, it's fine. I mean, it's not like it's changing too much. They added a lot of original content there. It's a classic, but it's only if you can stomach that old style. I feel like it still holds up to today, but there's a lot of people that can't really stomach that old style. It's a classic, though. Don't know why it's anime when it shows on dots. It's suggestiveness there, probably. I don't know. Even family-friendly shows showing topless in the 80s. Yeah. That's like I said. It was... Like I said, Gundam. Gundam, it was always showing that stuff. Dragon Ball. Goku's constantly running around with his wiener hanging out there. Bulma, full-on back shots. Like, they didn't really care back then. That's why I mean, it's like a lot of people want to immediately blame it on the West, but it's like that's just kind of a normal thing. It goes back to my old saying where I think that people need to focus their issues with the right people. Claiming that the reason why Ranma is the way it is right now, the remake is what it is right now, is because of Netflix. No, it's on Netflix, but it's not Netflix's show. They have no authority over the show itself. They could have made decisions based on it going on Netflix, but it was most likely just a full-on decision by the production committee, which does not involve Netflix. Most of it is just because of broadcasting regulations in Japan itself is different nowadays than it used to be. A lot of changes are made because of that. Would I want it to show everything? Yeah. I would prefer it to show everything. Most of the time, I'm perfectly fine with showing kind of the borders, like just kind of the ecchi on the line. I'm like the hell's his name? The main guy from Roshidere. I like the idea of teasing it and getting that line rather than just showing it all. That's typically how I prefer my ecchi shows. I don't really care that I have to always see everything, but so it kind of falls in line with that. Like I'm okay with how Ranma is. But I will admit that I don't like the nipless thing. I had the same problem with Cross Ange. I have a copy of the Blu-ray of Cross Ange, and it's uncensored, but it's weird. I'm sorry, nipless is just so weird. It's just something's off about it. It makes it feel like something's off, something's broken. It's not normal. Yeah, basically there's shirtless occasionally, but nothing. Sexual. Ranma 1/2 isn't Mahoko gushing over magic girls, right? It's just it happens kind of stuff. It's very much so a circumstances, it happens, they're not going for it kind of thing. Somebody trips, it happens. They walk in on somebody, it happens. I think they do an uncensored version on Blu-rays, but maybe wrong. I doubt it. I would say I'm 99% sure. 99% sure, like a fraction, I have 1% there that I might be wrong. 99% sure what you see on Netflix right now of Ranma 1/2 will be on the Blu-ray. They're gonna leave it that way. They don't. Blu-rays anymore don't really change much. Like the mentality of the Blu-rays change everything, or they'll fix it in the Blu-ray, or they'll undo something in the Blu-ray. It's very rare. Like, I think the only one here recently that I think had substantial changes was that Ayakashi Triangle. What was it called? That one they deliberately made it a copy for the Blu-rays. Most of the time, they don't change much or update things with the Blu-rays. Okay, the best way to put it, if their plan was to have, like Ranma, when he, I think it was episode 2 or whatever, where he, in the morning, he gets wet, and he's sitting on the side of the step, and he's wringing out his t-shirt, and the father comes out, and you see that full shot of the front. There's too much motion happening there that it would be more cheaper for them to draw the nips and have a light over it that is a layer that they can easily remove later on, rather than have to draw them on later, because that is a frame there that's already there. It's not like an overlay of the nips. They would have to it would be cheaper to put a light there. Since there's not a light there, it's probably going to be that way with the original. It's the best way to put it. I have not got caught up on Oitambo yet. I really do want to. I really thought the first season was super wholesome. I liked it. And I'm curious to see where it goes from here, but I haven't got a chance to get to it. And Negative Positive Angler. This is our last one. I'm almost out of time, so we're like actually really close. Negative Positive Angler. Yeah, the Blu-ray isn't what it used to be, right? It's just mainly, and I think that's mostly because there's not an expectations to... A majority of the money that goes into the anime industry is no longer Blu-rays. As much as people want to believe it is no longer Blu-rays. So they don't put as much effort into Blu-rays. Like, everybody was screaming that all the issues with Season 2, Part 1 of Mushoku Tensei was going to fix with the Blu-rays. Barely anything changed. Barely anything changed. Like, that tentacle monster of a Treant is still there. A lot of the wonkiness to the characters is still there. Nothing was really fixed. So, Reese's hand is still... It was changed a little bit, but it's still huge when he gets the letter from Helen Elise. Negative Positive Angler is probably a solid A for me. It's very promising. Really enjoying it. It's got lulls, though. Like, I think it's got a lot of promise, and it's got a good story that it's got set up there. But I will admit that it has some lulls for me. Music's great. I like the style as much as people don't like. I do agree. I don't like the weird Gyaru girl and her look and the other guy. They look way off from the other style of the rest of the characters, but I'm sure it'll probably grow on me over time. But they have some weird choices for the character designs. Like, characters that just don't look like they fit in the show. That's it. Like I said, these three I have not gotten started on the new seasons yet, so I don't really have an opinion on them. I don't know if I need to adjust anything. I think my A's are pretty heavy, so I'd probably drop down... Who's an A that I would drop down? 365 probably. These are all kind of equal. These are all kind of equal for me. Earthly, dude, Earthly, I've let me see. I probably already have plenty of dislikes for this video. I don't need more. B's, would I drop down any B's into C? Because B's are very heavy too. Probably Mecha Ude. It's not a great show. Probably Trillion Game 2. Put Blue Box at the high B. Who's low B? I'm going to drop down Magical Girls. Or girls that could not become magicians. I think that's solid. Who would I drop down to D? Y'all really badly want me... You just all want me to get attacked by the Shonen Bros. You're all trying to make me bait the Shonen Bros. Not that I've not done plenty to upset Shonen Bros by now, because I never put the big epic shonens in my top 10 list. How many times I do a top list for like a Jujutsu Kaisen season, and everybody's like, "What the hell? How would you put any of this stuff above Jujutsu Kaisen?" I'm happy you enjoy it. Be happy and enjoy your show. We want you to be honest with yourself. No, I legit still think Bleach is, like I said, it is my favorite shonen series of all time. That's why I'm not putting an S. I'm being honest with myself by not putting an S, because it's not an S because I'm tired of shonen. It's still my favorite shonen series of all time. Now, granted, yes, Dragon Ball Z is technically it has a soft spot for me. Like, Dragon Ball is like my childhood. Like, Dragon Ball is my childhood. This is Dragon Ball and Ranma, like, these two are like my childhood right here. These are I grew up on these. I shouldn't have been watching them, but I grew up on these. But Bleach, once I got older, it was pretty much the thing that, like, is my favorite of the shonens. I've watched HX. No, I have not. I cannot state against Hunter x Hunter, and I cannot state against One Piece. I'm sure they're both incredible because of the fandoms behind them, but those are the two that I have not gotten into yet. I really need to. I have a prediction time. You know, we always have to make predictions so that if we're actually right, then everybody thinks we're incredible. You make tons of predictions, and eventually you'll get it right, and then everybody thinks you're incredible. I want to say Zenshu's not going to be good. Who's writing Zenshu? I have a feeling Zenshu is not going to be good. Is this the writer? Script writer? Zenshu's gonna be terrible, dude. I'm calling it. No particular reason. I'm going to call this now. Don't look at Dungeon Meshi. Don't look at Dungeon Meshi. Dungeon Meshi already has a story. Dungeon Meshi already has an established storyboards. It's the manga. You open up the manga of Dungeon Meshi, you have the storyboards. Don't look at Dungeon Meshi. This is series competition for a show that already has storyboards. Look at Yurideko. Let's see what else. Script. Eden was okay. Like it is technically sort of a story I've seen before several times. I think it's going to look good. I think this is going to look really good because it's an original by MAPPA. Yeah, and I think somebody else was involved with Carol and Tuesday. It was the director behind Cowboy Bebop, wasn't it? It's Bushi Road and Dugout. So it's not even a MAPPA production. Is MAPPA at all putting any money in this? So the whole joke's about MAPPA making an anime about overworked animators. Not really the case. It's Bushi Road and Dugout. Kamiko Ueno. The examples that we have for her pedigree is Yurideko, which is an original. Eden. Oh, why do I want it to be bad? If that's your question, why do I want it to be? I don't want it to be bad. I'm just making a fun prediction here that I think it's going to be bad. Yeah, Shinichiro Watanabe. That was Carol and Tuesday. He's literally. This guy is why Carol and Tuesday is amazing. This dude right here made Carol and Tuesday, and he is, for those who don't know, he's like the king dude. That's why everybody's excited about Lazarus. Obviously, Ergo Proxy was it. Cowboy Bebop. There it is. Shamai Champloo. That's this dude. He's why Carol and Tuesday was amazing. Wasn't her. I mean, she could have done a lot of work to it. Don't get me wrong. She may have been extremely involved, but I don't think so. Again, I think her pedigree is going to be Yurideko and Eden. That's your examples. I want... This could be her big hit. This could be her massive hit. Yeah, it's comment on it. Which one? The Watanabe? Some people here knew. Some people are here new. I gotta point out to some people. Anyways, that's my prediction. I think Senshu... I want it to be good. I want everything to be good. But I'm gonna predict that Senshu is gonna be a flop. But yeah, thanks guys for dropping by. Like I said, I'll probably take this down, edit it, and repost it as a VOD later on for some folks. Just make it more easier to consume. But I appreciate everybody that was here for the live. Again, next week on Halloween, it's currently planned, and I'm pretty sure it's going to happen, but should be the 31st, late at night. Your time zone right now, if you go forward by 5 hours, that time on Halloween, I will be streaming Song of Saya, Saya no Uta. I'm never going to get that name right. I'm going to be live streaming on that on Twitch, specifically Twitch. If you're on Discord or if you have me followed on Twitter or X, I will post out when it happens. But we'll be doing it live on Twitch. I'll record it and I'll put the VOD on YouTube later on. But if you want to be there for live for me doing that, that'll be on Twitch. So follow me on Twitch if you have not already. Twitch.tv/OtakuSpirit. But that's going to be my next live stream. I'm not sure if I'll do another stream next Friday because I'm going to be doing that. I'm going to be probably tired, but we'll see. But I appreciate you guys for dropping by. Thank you guys so much for the chat. It's been a lot of fun. Thanks for people not getting too angry about my takes on anime this time around. I usually get a lot of heat, but the VOD will probably get more heat. But anyhow, take care, guys. Thanks for dropping by. Have a good one.